What's up, guys? Needle here, and our first inaugural ZoneReads Mock Draft. Fortunately, we have 5 people here, including myself. We had 2 drop out, as you see on the screen there. MJW and Smiglet, unfortunately, couldn't make it with us tonight. But we still have 5 great guys to get us some knowledge. You know, Vix Care is going to blow us all up with some crazy draft pick late in the first round. So I'll let them introduce themselves. First up, we'll have Nath, who's drafting for the St. Louis Rams. Nath, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. I'm Nath. I'm the ringleader of ZoneReads, and so I'll be appropriately, disciplining and firing Matt and Sumanth for skipping this shortly.
So yeah, his first pick will be with the Rams, and hopefully it's nothing too face-melting for Jeff Fisher. Up next will be Thamel, picking for Jacksonville Jaguars. Thamel?
You can just call me Trey.
Or we can just call you Trey. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been watching lots of film. I like a lot of these guys. Everyone here I like.
Every single player?
Yeah, I like them all. I've watched film on them all. I like them all.
Great. So, okay. Up fourth for us, who will be drafting for the Cleveland Browns, is Tweety Bird. How are we doing, Tweety?
I'm doing great. Me and my coach. We're joined at the hip. I think we're just together on this.
You got all this. You ready to go?
Of course.
I mean,
I need to ask, is that your real name?
What? You think my parents did it for a bird?
We have beeping.
J Bird, your real name. That's what I'm asking.
It is not.
Wow.
Guys, we have beeping.
I have to reconfigure a lot of things about my life.
What's the beeping?
Sorry.
Oh, fuck, that's me. I had the timer going for our first picks, guys. So that fucked that up right there. It's okay. It's all right.
Does that mean you just got skipped?
I think I just missed my first pick. So, all right, let's do the last one here. Vix Decatur, I'm going to let you introduce yourself while I go grab my dog. Go ahead, sir.
I am Vix C. Decatur, also known as Vix Decatur, also known as Vix.
Okay, and I'm back. My dog is now inside the house safely. And anything to say before we start this off?
I was told there would be a rap battle.
That is only if Jaguars can land both Clowney and Bridgewater. Is that
Okay.
possible? Can we get that done?
Who's the battle between?
I'm expecting Trey and Vix. They're the 2 film watchers. Nothing to say there. Oh boy.
I've actually never watched any of these games. I'll just make it up.
Okay, so I like this. So we just ready to get going into this?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to give the little bit of how we're going to go through this. I'm put everyone on a clock. 5 minutes is the maximum we're going to have for both discussion and the pick. So hopefully these guys have done their homework and are ready to go, including myself. And after that, pretty much, we're going to chime in on each other's pick a little bit. Nothing too formal here, but try to keep it going. Try to keep it under the 5 minutes. So it sounds like everyone's ready to go, right?
Ready?
Yeah.
Just pick Logan Thomas.
Okay.
Assuming something, yeah.
So let me just make sure my overlay is off. Overlay is off. Here we go. And fortunately, I had the first pick here. And with the Texans, I'm starting the timer here. So I'm just going to sit back and relax for a little bit. Wait for the trade offers. Is there any trade offers on the table, guys?
No.
I want Tampa Bay to make an offer, but I don't know if they can afford to with already a pick missing and being a 4-win team that has a lot of crap everywhere.
So
like places.
A team that should be moving up is probably Tampa, but don't have the resources to move up.
Yeah, they love Clowney, just your prototype 4-3 pass rusher. But they don't have that much to offer, and really, like I said, they won 4 games last year. They really have a lot of pressing concerns that are probably best addressed with more players, not fewer.
So
I'm willing to part with Vince Young, as well as my number 4 pick.
What now? Because I also have the Falcons, I'm not going to be making a trade here. But theoretically, what could we see if Falcons want to move up for?
I mean, it'd have
Clowney.
to be Clowney.
Lot.
It's only
You mean what it would cost?
What will it cost, and how likely are they to do this?
I think it would cost at least. I mean, it would cost a first and probably a third next year, and then I don't know, something this year, third this year maybe.
So we're
I
looking
think
at.
I think it would cost quite a lot because I don't ever think the first pick has never actually been traded, has it? Other than the Eli
Yeah.
Manning situation, kind of.
No.
sort of.
What's the name? Orlando Pace.
Okay.
97. The Jets traded that to the Rams.
And
Then Vic
wasn't
and Tomlinson.
the first pick
Yeah.
when the Panthers' first year?
Is that right? What year was that?
I believe the Panthers traded their first pick for like Kajana Carter or something.
Huh. Whoops.
Great trade.
Hold on, let me look. But continue with this. Anything else here? Any other teams looking potentially? How much do Houston want to move out of the pick?
How much do they
No,
want to move out?
No
Yeah.
idea.
We don't know. Yeah, Cincinnati traded up for Kajana Carter
Oh, jeez.
in '95.
I mean, they want to move out, enough to, what do I want to say? They want to move out. I mean, they want to move out enough to listen to offers because they could certainly use a lot of players. But, I'd also think, well, I'm saying I would think they'd be happy taking Clowney. But, 2 months ago, I thought they'd be happy taking Bridgewater here. So who the hell knows what they want.
So, okay. We've gone 2.5 minutes here. I don't personally. I've heard Gil Brandt say that Khalil Mack is the pick. I disagree with him. I think this is easy. Personally, I think he's the best defensive talent to come out in a number of years. I'm taking Jadeveon Clowney #1 overall.
Honestly, realistically, probably since Julius Peppers, at least the pass rusher, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd probably put him a notch above Mario Williams and equivalent with Julius Peppers. Like, I just can't see a team that has the pick taking Khalil Mack over Clowney. Not that I have any concern with Mack. It's just this is Jadeveon Clowney, guys.
Well, the best part about it, for me, if you don't mind me stepping in for a second, is that what I've been hearing is that they're worried Clowney won't fit in Romeo Cornell's 3-4 defense. And so, all I have to say to that is, if you have the best pass rushing prospect in 10 years and the 65-year-old defensive coordinator can't figure out how to use him, I think I know which one's more valuable than the other.
So, I would agree with that. So, I'm going to take Clowney #1 overall to the Houston Texans. So, I'm going to reset the timer here. That took a total of 4 minutes. Nath, you're on clock with the Rams.
Okie dokie. Well, outfield trade offers too, although I don't know how strong any of them will be. The Rams are in an interesting spot here because, at the same time, I'm not sure they should trade down, to be honest. They seem to have a lot of, average players and only a few really great ones. They could use some more great ones to take them over the top. It's just a matter of where. What I'm definitely not doing is taking Greg Robinson like every other mock and every Draftnik's dad's mock has.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine if Greg Robinson's taking #2?
Oh, man. I could, and I think it'd be hilarious. We think he's, what, third, fourth best offensive lineman in this draft?
I mean, you guys might. I don't.
Okay, at best, we'll say. He's not, he doesn't play left tackle very well, and that's important. And people rave about his athleticism, but I've said it before. I think Taylor Lewan is just as athletic, and I wasn't impressed with Robinson in, the combine drills. I don't think he has the footwork to play left tackle, and I don't think, that sort of grace and balance is something you can just teach someone. Technique maybe, but balance is a whole new other thing.
I think if you take Robinson, you're taking a guard. I mean,
yeah,
you can't draft a guard second. You can draft him. I don't know. You see Cooper and Warmack last year. They went 7 and 10. So I mean, I don't think it's bad to take him there, but I think you can't take him as a left tackle.
Potential left tackles. Can we get a timer on the screen, perhaps? Is there any way to do that?
I could try and work it.
Yeah, I'd just like to know how much time I have. So that said, this is a tough one because, because frankly, from my perspective, I want to say, Sam Bradford is a garbage quarterback, and I would just probably draft Bridgewater here, but I don't think there's any chance they do that.
I agree with that, by the way.
There's a chance, I think there's a little bit of fire to the Johnny Manziel rumors, but it's just, it's hard. I guess it's just kind of hard to.
I cannot figure out.
I think the most likely team to trade into the spot might be Minnesota. They have an extra third rounder.
Yeah,
and
would they target?
I think it's Tampa Bay. I think that's my guess. They would
could
trade
be Tampa
up.
Bay too.
Tampa Bay.
I don't think. Yeah. I don't think they're trading up for Bortles. I think the only one someone's going to trade up for is Manziel. I don't think.
Yeah.
Everyone's been saying nobody loves Bortles right now. I mean, not that I don't like him, but he's.
I mean,
not a lot of buzz on.
I feel like every step of this process has been someone in a lot of love-hate relationships. Watch them all go top 10 in the end, anyway.
And Carr.
Oh God.
Terrible.
The timer should be up there now. Just remember, you guys, if you watch the guys that are in the call right now, you're about 30 seconds behind on the stream.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes now.
So
Nate.
now, God damn it. You know what I mean.
I corrected.
It's all right. It's all right. So yeah. So I feel like shit. As much as I would take, it's as much as I would take as much as I would lean toward a quarterback. I kind of. Alright, stop that. I kind of think it's kind of hard. I mean, I've heard they love to. It's kind of hard not to pick Khalil Mack as a pick. I think he's.
Kind of went away there, bro.
One of the best prospects remaining, and one of the top 2 or 3. If they're serious about giving Bradford another shot, which they may not be. I mean, they still have the 13 too. They could use that on a quarterback, thinking they can just still get a different top line guy here. In fact, that's kind of what makes me lean towards Mack with this pick. So, unless anyone fields any trade offers, that's what the pick will be.
I'm kind of set, I think, on my team's trading up. Anyone else?
Nope, I'm not good.
Yeah, I think so. Khalil Mack, number 2 overall to the St. Louis Rams. So first 2 picks, we're having the edge rushers go. One from South Carolina, one from Buffalo. I think this. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I think this also sort of helps with the problem people think of. We already have Chris Long and Robert Quinn. Well, I mean, setting aside that you don't pass on a great defender because you're a 30-year-old you're paying $9 million. Mack could probably play more of an outside linebacker in a 4-3 a la Von Miller, and so this way they can get all 3 of those guys in the field at the same time, all the time still.
I think it makes sense. What the hell? I mean, get all those guys out there, get to the quarterback. Okay, cutting it off there, 15 seconds to go on the clock, resetting it, getting to Thamel, to Trey, drafting my Jacksonville Jaguars. Dude, don't mess this up.
Well, 2 defenders. Two defenders off the board, so you can bet your butt they're going to go offense, or they'd have a hard time going defense here. And for offense, I think it's either one of the quarterback prospects or Sammy Watkins or outside chance at Evans. Anyone disagree?
I think with the Justin Blackmon issues that have arisen and the concern of whether he's coming back or not, Ace Sanders is a nice slot receiver. Cecil Shorts might be a good 3. Probably an average 2 guy. I just don't think the skill set's going to, be pushed to where he's going to be a 1. And I think a Watkins or an Evans is the type of selection that's going to help the team. I mean, I just don't get the feeling right now that they're pushing for a quarterback.
Yeah, I tend to.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, I tend to agree. I think they'll take Watkins here, especially when you factor in Blackman's problems. They probably be very willing to trade down. I don't know how much, since they do have a load of picks in the 4th and 5th round. But if they can pick up, this is a team that could always use frontline talent. Although, they've done a pretty good job plugging some holes in free agency, vets. So it may just be one of those cases where they take a really good player.
Yeah, they plugged a lot of defensive holes in free agency.
It doesn't sound like they want to take a QB, but
at least not
nobody
the first
wants
round.
to take one apparently. So we'll see.
Yeah, and when your team drafting this early too, part of it is that the theory is you can still trade back into the first using your high second to get a quarterback.
The other thing is people could they could be selling themselves on a QB nonstop, thinking, oh, the Rams aren't taking one, the Houston isn't taking one, so there's one of these 3 guys they can get really sold on interviews and workouts. But I'm going to go with Watkins here. I think he's the best player available.
I agree with that, and I'm happy with that selection as a Jag fan.
And he erases their biggest question mark, which is the issue of Blackmon.
Oh, God, what an ass.
Man, just when it looked like Gene Smith got something right, huh?
There you go. You know, it should have been known the fact that the man started showing some signs of life that it was going to go badly. It was just without question.
He did draft Cecil Shorts. So
I mean,
out.
there's a couple guys. You know, Monroe wasn't terrible, but I think some of the guys just fell into his lap. Cecil Shorts, you know, fit his mold of small college guy that no one knows of. Can't get me started on Gene Smith.
He just really had that fixation on small college players. It just didn't.
Howard and Mount Union.
Oh, I mean, he's 1 or 2 every year. Like, you can look at entire drafts where it's like he'll take a first rounder from a major school and then like 4 picks from small schools.
I'm so glad we have Caldwell.
It sounds like, it almost seems like he's just trying to, like, I don't know. It's one of those things where he does it because, if this works out, how smart am I going to look? You know what I mean?
So, anything else in Sammy Watkins there at 3?
Watkins is great.
Yeah.
I don't think he has any holes. I think if he was 6'5", he'd be Calvin Johnson. I think he's a shorter Megatron. That's what I think. I think he does everything well. I think he
doesn't jump high well. He doesn't jump high enough.
Yeah. That's about it.
Just if you want a good laugh though, look at Jacksonville's drafts from 2010 and 2011.
Yo, what the hell here, man?
I wasn't kidding. Sorry, I wasn't kidding though. Seriously, first rounder from a BCS.
So on to Watkins. If you guys watch my YouTube video, you'll see how awesome he is.
Can we talk about Derek Harvey?
Okay. Yeah. We're now moving on to pick number 4. Vix, I haven't heard from you in a little bit. How's the microphone going?
Vix, you there?
I think we might have.
Now?
Oh, there he is. There he is.
He just hopped back in the chat. Good.
Okay.
My
I'm
internet
reset the timer.
Not doing so well. Let me see. What were
Vix lives in the South.
What were
this
the
is to be
picks?
expected.
The picks are Jadeveon Clowney, Khalil Mack, and Sammy Watkins. Oh, Tweety's up. Tweety's up. Vix, you are not up.
All right.
So, but there you go, man. I just want to make sure you're there. Everything's going all right over there.
I'm just going to snap pick because we're going to go ahead and take the best player in the draft. We're going to take Teddy Bridgewater because he's better than everyone
Whoa,
else.
that was so quick. Where's the drama? Where's the build-up to it, man?
Yeah.
You pick good players, dude. I mean, come on.
This is the Browns. There has to be some type of, like, screw-up where, they accidentally trip and fall and the giant Manziel card falls in their lap, Something like that.
It's the best quarterback in the draft. He's there. They need a quarterback.
Opinions on Bridgewater. Vixed?
I think he's clearly the best quarterback in the draft. I have no idea what all the talk about anyone else. I could see Bortles to some extent, the idea anyways, because he's, 6'5". I think the NFL is biased towards, they basically want 6'4" plus guys for whatever reason, unless they can, Michael Vick type. I don't know. They do seem to be biased against those guys.
I do agree with that. I do think that NFL teams don't have the best track record with trying to figure out quarterbacks. Look at Ponder, who I liked a lot, Gilbert, who I hated a lot. Guys like that just seem to look like a quarterback are the guys that they select as quarterbacks. When the whole gloves situation just bothers me with Bridgewater so much. It really bothers me.
I think the thing is with him, because he's with small quarterback, and he's smallish, he's 6'2", but he's like 200 pounds only. So I think with them, they typically want to see someone with a special attribute if they don't have it. Like Teddy doesn't have like he's not super fast, he's a huge arm, he's not like Johnny where he's kind of, he can make people miss and whatever, or he's not like Bortles where he can throw anywhere on the field, but he does everything else well. So it's kind of. He plays quarterback like an NFL quarterback in college. So he looks off safeties. He steps up in the pocket. He does things that you're not going to see Derek Carr do. I mean, you see guys with like crippling attributes like Carr, like he dies in pressure. McCarron does the same thing. Sammy can't hit anything. Garoppolo, yeah, phantom pressure and all that. And then Bridgewater, I mean, he has he doesn't have a crippling attribute other than maybe he's not big and tall. That's about it.
Nathan, what were you saying?
Just just what the guy said. He's great at playing quarterback in an NFL manner. He's got the arm strength to make all the throws necessary. He's got incredible accuracy, vision, pocket presence, defense reading ability. I don't get it. You know what? And the complaints are ridiculous. People talk about a slight frame. He's the same height and weight as Derek Carr, but Derek Carr can zip at 65 yards, while rolling out off his back foot, and Teddy can't. If that situation came up a lot in a game, I would totally understand why people like guys like Carr so much, or the Tom Savages of the world, but it doesn't.
And you talk about guys with everyone wants to see the pro style offense, whatever. None of the guys have. I mean, McCarron ran it to a degree, but Teddy's the only guy really. Because you look at Bortles, shotgun every play, Carr, shotgun every play, Manziel doing his shit. I mean, he's the only one really that you can project his offense to the NFL, and he did it with a trash supporting cast and whatever. So I think he's the best quarterback. I'd take him first pretty easily. I think.
And I think all. I think all the top three quarterbacks have some merit, and they've got varying abilities and tend to do what you want to do. But I think Teddy's clearly the best and the one who's certainly most likely to succeed. This is a terrible play to be showing while I'm saying this, by the way. Yeah. He's a terrific quarterback, and you can see him get sacked for a safety right here.
I was just trolling.
Yeah.
But,
In one sense, I'd say he's far and away just light years ahead of the guys above the shoulders in this draft.
Okay, 10 seconds. Anything you say?
I mean,
10 seconds.
He plays quarterback the best, and that's what you want in a quarterback.
Okay, plays quarterback best. That's what you want in a quarterback.
One last thing is, I believe his measurables are pretty much exactly the same as Aaron Rodgers, and he plays fairly similarly.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers comparison.
He fell in the draft as well.
Aaron Rodgers, I made the Drew Brees comparison. I've seen several people make the Joe Montana comparison. I think
he's a shorter Matt Ryan's pretty good one. I think he's got a better release than Ryan. He's a little more accurate. I think they're about the same arm strength. They both move the pocket well. They don't make horrible decisions. I mean, there was some stat. It was 0.6% was his bad decision rate or something. It was he was the only one close to luck, apparently.
Okay, guys, I have to cut you off. We've already gone 30 seconds into the next pick.
Okay.
Vix, you're up with the Oakland Raiders.
Okay. My internet is not working whatsoever, so I'll just do this off the top of my head. Okay.
Uh-oh.
What were the picks again?
Okay. Clowney went number 1. Khalil Mack 2. Sammy 3. And Tweet with the face melter of Teddy 4.
The internet's not so good at Vix's remote mountain cabin.
Right, exactly. I actually think the Raiders will and should take Mike Evans here.
Mike Evans at number 5. Now, is this a Vix pick or is this a Raiders?
It's going to happen, I think.
I think
it's going to happen.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, it's kind of both.
I think it's a reach, but I think it's going to happen.
Now, just to say that Vix had Mike Evans going to the Raiders at 5. He was the odds in your guys' Iron Man draft?
That's correct.
Okay, so Vix had Evans going to the Raiders at 5.
I've done research here. There's a lot of rumors linking them. And I think it makes a lot of sense. The only thing with Evans that really is kind of weird to me is he only lines up on the right side. I don't know what that means. If you can weigh in, he lines up. No, hold on one second. He lines up both off and on the ball, but he just doesn't. He doesn't line up on the left side. Doesn't line up on the slot.
Now
that is kind of weird.
That is. So he's never in a 2 slot. He's never in a 3 slot. He's out wide, outside of numbers all the time.
Yes.
Outside of numbers all the time.
On the right side, every play. I actually checked this out. I went through 4 or 5 of his games and same position every game, every snap.
No, that's very interesting. I don't have anything like transcendent to say. My guess would be that he's comfortable with certain routes. He's not going to want to run, an inside slant where he's running it from the 2 slot, and he's going to run to a linebacker. In this case, he's probably run to a safety in a slant. Other things is bubble plays. Bubble play, the 2 slot and the 3 slot typically have to block, and the 1 slot can run back and catch the ball. I mean, they do different things, but to me, I think it's limiting his routes potentially. Just trying to stop him from running into certain people. The other thing too is we're running with Johnny Manziel, and with Johnny, a lot of plays break down. Maybe it's a way for him to, ad-lib a little bit better from the outside, get downfield quicker.
One thing I wanted to add with Mike Evans is he's one of the best ad-libbers that I've seen at receiver, especially at the college level. The guy is never not working to get open. Like, you see a lot of guys, they run their route, they're kind of like, oh, I'm not open, I'll just stop now. Mike Evans, he's always coming back or, going deep, whatever it is. He seems to intuitively understand what to do in that.
We have 1 minute.
I think he's a pretty poor route runner. He's kind of the way he gets up. He bodies guys. He throws guys around. That was the big question he committed offensive pass interference like 10 times a game. He pushes guys around. He's a straight line guy. He's better. He's like, what do he run, like 4.5 or something, and he can do that in a straight line, but he's not the best laterally. He doesn't. I think he's really similar to Brendan Marshall, because neither of them really run great routes. Evans probably has better hands than Marshall. I think Evans would be a fine player, but he's not. I don't think I'd take him at 5 just because I think there's a ton of receivers, and I don't think he's better than Odell Beckham. I think
15 seconds.
I think he can bust. I don't think someone like Watkins can bust.
Last comment, 10 seconds.
I think Evans could struggle to separate.
Nath, get in.
I just want to say that I'm really excited to pair Mike Evans with the improvisational abilities of Matt Schaub.
Okay. Resetting.
Al Davis approves of this pick.
We're now up on the clock, and I believe it's me with the Falcons. Now, before we had the whole thing, I was set on the teams I was looking at, and I was real excited to do the Vikings, and now I get the Falcons, who, I'm not entirely sure what direction they're going in. So what type of direction do you think these guys are pushing?
Tackle or edge rusher, I think.
Best, yeah. And I think in this...
The Falcons, I think they have to take a tackle. I just don't see how Matt Ryan can continue to take the abuse that people just come at him, unblocked.
So we've gone now 5 picks into the 6th pick. And a lot of mocks have a guy going already, and Greg Robinson. And that's not the guy who we like the most, right?
No.
And who is your
not.
guy's number 1 tackle right now?
I would I agree with that. I think Jake Matthews, he's just so technically proficient. He just pretty much never gets beat. And I think his run blocking is actually kind of underrated, because I actually posted it in the draft thread that there's several plays where he just blows the guy off the ball. And he really turns his man well. I don't really see him being a bust or anything.
He was a backup or pushed to the right tackle because of Luke Jokel. Is that a concern at all?
No.
Luke Jokel got drafted 2nd overall last year. So,
in a much weaker draft, if I'm right. Guys.
It's just one of those things where you have 2 NFL guys. The older one, one of them has a little more age and experience, and then the other one, it's good. It's actually good that we got to see a year of Matthews playing left tackle and playing it so well. That's how I see it.
I think you could take Lewan here. I think they're close. I don't think it matters which one you take. I think Lewan maybe is a better athlete.
I think with Lewan, I agree with you. You could take him here. I do think that off the field is a concern there. Again, I cannot search anything.
Idea if it is, but
but he's been arrested at least once.
He's bigger than Matthews, and I think he's probably stronger than Matthews, and I don't know.
Right.
Let me ask this
Probably got a better
question.
ceiling, I think. But
Let me ask this
Matthews.
question. As we've kind of committed to a tackle here, and it sounds like the feeling
Unless
is
they trade down.
Unless they trade down. Let's trade down.
Don't know who.
The feeling, Tanya, is that Jake Matthews from our end. Is Greg Robinson on the board for them?
Probably. I mean, he seems to be on the board for a lot of teams, even though he shouldn't be. So I guess, I don't. It's one of the things I don't know how to answer. I mean, I was talking about him at 2, and I thought that'd be terrible, but that doesn't mean some team isn't taking him in the top 10.
Right.
I think the idea with the NFL, a lot of teams, they like that, raw athleticism. Even if the guy doesn't have, so you take, a Barkevius Mingo last year. I think Robinson has that, that kind of power, that overpowering, where he has the highlight plays that you see. I don't think you necessarily see out of Lewan or Matthews, and I think they think that they can coach these guys up to somehow learn how to do kick slides and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they're looking at what they can coach. I mean, if they, because Lewan and Matthews, they're good at the things they're coachable already. They have the technique already, and Robinson doesn't. Robinson's a better athlete, so in theory, you can coach him up. He's better than them, but I don't think it's that simple.
Right.
I think
that's
we have 50 seconds.
I was just going to say, I think, Vic had a really good point there. Highlight reel drafting is what I would call it, And, if a guy makes a big play, that means, if he's got the ceiling to make a huge play, that's cool. But, there's certain positions, and I think left tackle is one of them, where you don't really want, a guy shouldn't be getting highlights. If you're getting highlights, that means, it shouldn't be getting highlights in pass protection. You should be stonewalling the man.
It should be boring.
That looks a lot less impressive on film, but it's what you actually want out of your offensive tackle.
I will get more into Greg Robinson when he's selected. He's not being selected here. I personally can't take him that high. My gut would say Lewan, but because I like him more, but I think the selection is Jake Matthews. So I'm going to go with Jake Matthews. And with that, the beeping is now going. That is annoying, so we're going to try to avoid doing that from now on. And we're going to move on to Nath with the 7th pick with the Bucks.
I think I figured out who it is here. I'm just not sure if it's going to be Tampa Bay or if the Rams are going to trade up. I don't really have control over the Rams, but I think both these teams, the interest by these teams leaked is real, and that one of them at number 7 is going to draft Johnny Manziel.
The Bucks?
I've heard that rumor.
I've heard, there's a lot of rumors about both these teams really liking them. It seems painfully clear that both of these teams' starting quarterback situations are, if not dire, at least in need of someone who can actually be the long-term guy. On the one hand, you could say Mike Glennon's didn't get enough chance. On the other hand, it's not like he showed enough that where you think, someday this guy's going to be a top 10 guy if we just stick with him,
Who is the offensive coordinator in Tampa now?
Is it Jeff Tedford? It might be.
I think it is.
Oh, boy.
I think you're right. It sounds like they want to dump Glennon. I mean, they're already shopping him, they're saying, so.
Yeah.
Wow. That would shock me, I think. Bucks taking Manziel.
I mean, like you said, the other option is that the Rams were interested in him, but just didn't want to reach for him at 2. And now that they have, they can, with 2 first-rounders, they can afford to, burn a little draft capital to trade up. I mean, it's one of those 2, I think. But
just wanted to confirm it is Jeff Tedford.
It is Tedford.
Tampa Bay, yes.
Tedford's a pretty old-school guy, right?
Let's see.
He was a great quarterbacks coach in college. I think he disappeared for a while, didn't he?
Go ahead.
He was at Cal from 2002 to 2012 as head coach.
Right.
Didn't he have Joe Harrington too? Or am I thinking wrong?
Probably.
Yeah, I think he did.
He was the guy who convinced everyone Kyle Bowler was a first-round pick. So I mean, obviously got something. I don't know what that something is, but
I personally think the Bucs should be looking at quarterback, but at the same time, I don't know if Glennon is the future. I mean, I know we liked him last year, but are we putting Glennon as a prospect next to Blake Bortles or Johnny Manziel? or even
Lord.
Nope.
what about Mettenberger or any of the second round guys?
No.
So
I think you can look at him in like third round, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, I take
think
him over like McCarron and Garoppolo probably. But.
so
I think those top 5 guys are, clearly all better than Glenn, and after that, it's a little murky.
okay, so I mean, so them taking a quarterback here isn't a wrong decision. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, and there's no real slam dunk anywhere else is my thing. I mean, looking at my list, I love, looking at our big board, just, even as much as I love Aaron Donald and Odell Beckham, I don't think either of them's going here. Lewan's a great player, but, they spent some money, they spent money to sign Anthony Collins to play left tackle, so they're not going to go ahead and draft one, I feel like, I mean,
think,
like, the best player available, but this is kind of a, toss-up between a few guys.
I think Tampa Bay, they already have their 2 of their cornerstone players in their Tampa 2 with McCoy and Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
And the other cornerstone is the Mike linebacker, and there's no one with value here.
Yeah, taking like C.J. Mosley would be preposterous.
Yeah.
So we have Mint in 15 seconds.
Trey, what do you think about are the Rams going to move or the Bucs going to move?
Nah. I don't think
All right,
the
well,
Rams will move.
Okay, well,
My only issue with Johnny Manziel is I cannot get the LSU/Missouri games out of my head.
But you are the guy that sits down and watches Mingo and ignores 190 plays, sees 5, and goes, "This guy's the greatest player ever," and he gets drafted early. How come you can't watch the Alabama game and just go, "Wow, this dude has got it"?
I can and I do, but it's just the LSU game is just so bad that I don't know. I don't know that type with Mingo. The difference is Mingo is, go get the quarterback. I don't know if run around and throw the ball is something that works out in the NFL. I don't know. Like it's possible.
10 seconds. Last thought.
I just think the real key with Manziel is like, and this is something that kind of disagrees with me on, or that he has it, is that it's whether you believe that like all his improvisation is a result of a crazy guy who doesn't know what he's doing, or high level understanding of the game. And I tend to lean toward the latter. And yeah, he's not perfect. He might have even been injured in those LSU and Missouri games, but I do think he does enough things well that if coaches are willing to work around, within his strengths and build the offense for him, he can really succeed. Plus, he does. I mean, he leaves the pocket before. I mean, he doesn't step up. I mean, he leaves. He just runs away. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
not. Okay,
it's not a whole lot there.
We've gone 30 seconds to the next pick.
Yeah.
Manziel's
also
done.
has a 6'5" guy to toss it up to here as well, and Vincent Jackson. So
okay, that's now 3 Texas A&M guys in a row taken. By the way, Trey, you're up with the Vikings. They have to be a little disappointed with Manziel and Bridgewater going off the board early.
They probably are. And they're definitely disappointed that the edge guys aren't there.
So the opinion on Vikings at 8. Go ahead, Trey. Give us what you got.
I mean, new regime, new quarterback, most likely, right?
Typically, I think. I also think they got Mike Zimmer's the coach there now.
Yeah, defensive head coach.
Defensive guy. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go quarterback. But new regime does typically mean that.
Well, they're obviously ready to move on from Ponder. It's just a matter of when and whom with.
Right,
they didn't pick up his option.
Right, didn't pick up his option.
Yeah, the only thing I think is the real non-quarterback pick here, barring a trade down because neither of the guys they want are here, but I don't know who they want to trade up for, is, if they do go away from a quarterback, Aaron Donald makes the most sense, especially for a Zimmer.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking. Going from Watkins to Donald would just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
If you're going to select Donald, just do it now so I can start talking about him.
I know what you're going to say, though.
I know, but I want to say it.
I would like that combination with him and Sharif Floyd. Yeah.
I think Donald.
I think you have the great size and you have the great speed. I think that's a good combo.
Yeah. They also got Linval Joseph too. They signed away from the Giants, so they have a good rotation.
That's true, and that would be. And I think Donald could go to the outside there,
Yeah, that's an intriguing pressure package.
Are you taking Donald there?
I just don't know if it's going to happen or not.
And I think Bortles is a valid pick too.
Yeah, it's either Bortles.
2.5 minutes.
I have a question about Blake Bortles, actually.
Well, we'll get to it when Bortles is selected.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Bortles. I'm gonna go with Bortles.
So
I think they're gonna snap him up if
Vix
they're
asks
gonna be
your
worried.
question.
Okay, so my question is, how bad were the Memphis and Houston games, which are not available on Draft Breakdown?
Let's see.
Because I've heard them described as undraftable, which seems unlikely.
The Memphis game was rough. There's no doubt that the Memphis game is bad. What was the Arab game you asked about?
Yeah, Memphis, and I believe Houston.
Houston was on an ice storm the day after.
Yeah.
The team came in late. Everything. That game was an absolute just disaster. I bet Nate remembers in the ice storm well, I'm sure.
Wait, which game?
The Houston, when you guys had an ice storm in Houston.
Oh, Jesus. God.
So, I mean, should there be concerns there? Maybe. I wouldn't be concerned with that personally. The Memphis game, if I remember correctly, going back in the season, that was the week after USC, and that was also kind of like a down game overall, I think, for the whole team. Not that explains or discredits anything that the games were bad, but at least to me, there's reasonings behind it rather than just haphazardly having awful games. I
wanted to add one more thing. Bortles also has games like Connecticut, where it looks like a damn video game, where he's just running around, throwing 20-yard passes on rookie mode. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
he has those types of games.
Throughout the season, too, there were random injuries that were difficult to replace, especially going into the South Carolina game, going against Clowney. I mean, so when it comes to Bortles, I think there is a rawness to him. I think we all know that his arm isn't like Ben Roethlisberger, but I think there's a lot there to like with him. And as long as you don't rush it, I think there can be a lot of positives going forward with him. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll give one last thought to somebody.
I would agree. I think that he's clearly raw, needs some work, but at the same time he already does enough things well for me to be optimistic about his pro future. If that makes sense, it's the raw guys who make a ton of mistakes, don't seem to have any pocket presence or accuracy that concern me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him sit for you because I mean he doesn't set up speed a lot, but he doesn't really have anything you can't coach. I mean, he's not too small. He doesn't see phantom pressure or anything. I think he just needs to sit, and then I think he could be Andrew Luck if that's his best case. But I think that's kind of where his ceiling is.
But okay, so I'm going to reset here.
I do think he can start right away. I do think he can start right away if kind of the Matt Ryan way, where you run the ball 400 times.
I mean, and given that he's competing with Matt Castle and Christian Ponder, he might actually be the best of the three right now.
Right, and that.
Okay, I'm going to reset the counter. 45 seconds over. We're going to the next pick here. It's going to be to Tweety with the Buffalo Bills.
And we're going to take Taylor Lewan. So
Tweety has no interest in making, a little bit of fun here with this. He just wants to go right into the
We can talk about it right after I pick, because I'm not going to dance around when there's an obvious pick.
Lewan I like a lot. Lewan is probably my number one tackle on the board. But I'll let you guys get into it first.
Yeah, just as far as other guys, I don't think you can take Ebron here, any of the safeties. I think you could take Beckham here. I think it'd be Beckham or Lewan, but I mean, they could have a bunch of receivers now. They've drafted like 4 different guys in the last couple of years, so maybe give them a shot and let E.J. Manuel fail and then redo the offense next year with Lewan. But yeah, I think you can take Lewan the first tackle. I think him or Matthews are the best tackle, and take him at 9 is quite good, I think.
Anyone else here?
I think that's kind of an obvious pick. I agree.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Unless I think they want to trade up for one of the guys they think can be a true number one, Watkins or Evans, and if they can't, they're just going to do this. We seem to have Beckham valued more highly than most people. I think a lot of places are going to knock him for his height, but he just does everything else well. So they're not going to draft him here, I don't think.
Who is Buffalo's current left tackle?
Cordy Glenn.
Cordy Glenn, yeah.
Yeah, but they said they want to move him, so they can.
I personally have never had a problem with Corey Glenn. I think he's been a fine player for them. But yeah, I think it could be a situation much like Jacksonville last year where you had a player that's good. Let's hopefully we're grabbing one that's better.
I mean, it could go either way, too. I think Glenn was also projected when he came out as guard in a lot of places. So it can be that you play Glenn at left tackle and Lewan for right, at least to start off. Or you move Lewan to the left and move Glenn inside. There's a lot you can do.
Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of interest in what my opinion on Lewan is. I don't know, maybe.
Go for it.
Personally, I liked Lewan going to last year. I've said that outside of Mack, Khalil, I think Lewan is maybe the highest talented tackle come out in the past few years. His technique isn't flawless, but the fact that it isn't tells me there's a higher ceiling for him. I watched someone like Jake Matthews, who is pretty flawless and everything, but I think like what he has is what you're going to get, and what you're going to get is very good. I think Lewan, you can actually get a type of player that's his physicalness is out of this world. I mean, it's bad at times. He's throwing people around. His holding penalty turns into a personal foul. I mean, that's crazy that a player can have that happen to them. But he keeps his feet back. His chest is up all the time. You never see him caught leaning, and that's a good thing for me. Near this Jake Matthews, but the big problem with Lewan is hand placement. He doesn't get his hands inside all the time. And when that happens, he gets beat. And that's the concern. And with that said, I think that's something that can be taught. Some hand-fighting skills can be taught. I think there's a higher ceiling.
The only game I thought I saw a little bit of roughness for Lewan was against Ohio State. I thought there was a couple plays where he kind of got bull rushed and kind of beat around the edge a little bit by this freshman Joey Bosa, who we can talk about in 3 years.
Ohio State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think him and Matthews those are the two guys where I think you can say whether they can actually be quality players as rookies. I think quality left tackles, that is. I don't think there's a lot of. I think typically you draft a left tackle, you're not. I mean, you see Fisher and Joko last year; they didn't have great years. I mean, Joko got hurt and all that, but
Joko was great.
I like the point that Lewan probably, based on his stature, has more room to grow than Matthews. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, I absolutely think that. And Matthews is a little. I mean, you could say he's a little lumbering. I mean, he's not. I mean, I don't think he has the same feet as Lewan. I think Lewan's maybe a little better feet, and he's a little stronger. So I would consider him over Matthews, even though Matthews is probably a lot cleaner. And Lewan's bigger too, and I think you can plug him in right away.
There we go. That ends the pick for the Buffalo Bills, and look at this. Vic's Decatur with the Lions at 10. Here we go, Vic.
Okay. I think the Lions would absolutely love to trade down in this spot because it's kind of it's a weird spot in the draft. And I think there are players that other teams would covet, a.k.a. Greg Robinson.
Now, who's a potential training partner here, guys?
Trade up with the Bears.
I mean,
Bears trade up.
Also, yeah, I think
I can see the Bears trade up
for Donald.
For Donald, definitely. Not for Robinson.
So according to your guys' big board, sorry, I'm just going to chime in. According to your big board, the top 5 guys available are Aaron Donald, ODB, who is Odell Beckham Jr., Greg Robinson, Zach Martin, Anthony Barr. So Aaron Donald to the Bears potentially is a potential trade-up.
Yeah.
I think that would make sense.
I think for like a third or something.
The only issue is kind of the division, but I don't even know. Is that even a real thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would definitely believe that, yeah.
I
think compensation would have to be more than it would be to, say, trade to Titans or Giants.
Yeah, I think they would. I think they'd probably be stingy with them.
So, okay, it could be the Bears.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alternately, I could also see someone like the Rams trading up for Robinson, or even the Lions taking Donald, because I think Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley are both free agents after this year. They didn't pick up Fairley's option.
Right. That would be my pick here. I would take Donald here, and one of the guys, you just don't pay them.
Yeah, basically. I mean, whatever.
I think it's fairly. I think it's fairly that's the one on the outside. I think the Lions are going to keep Suh.
I mean, Suh's really good. It's going to be a lot more expensive than Fairley, I bet.
Yeah. I think. You can play all three. I think too, because I think Donald played some end, and I think. You can find a way to put him on the field. They're not.
Yeah, and Suh can also play in.
But yeah. I think
that's actually pretty interesting. You had a Ziggy Ansah, Fairley, Suh, Donald all on the field at the same time. I think that would be pretty interesting. I don't think you would do it very often, but it would be entertaining.
Yeah, it would be entertaining.
So, okay, we have 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Vix, who are the Lions selecting?
Aaron Donald.
Okay.
Barring a trade.
I guess this is where I say my concerns. I know all of you love him, and I think we just need to say right now that I think all of you believe he is probably a top 7 guy in this draft.
About that.
Top 10, yeah, we have him at 7 on the big board.
So, personally, I'm not saying he's undraftable, like that'd be silly. I just have an issue with his ability to. I know Vix highlighted a double team. And I just
that was I agree. I actually watched quite a lot of them today. Not anticipating. I wasn't picking for the Lions earlier, but I looked at him today, and I think he does struggle against double teams in particular. He can get blown off the ball, and I think what he does really well against is zone blocking. He just swims right over the guard, and it's unbelievable what he can do.
That's typically where a penetrating guy is going to succeed, is against zone type blocking and quick short step drops on quarterbacks, because the setup on the block for defensive tackle, or offensive lineman versus defensive tackle is going to be a lot shorter than, say, a 5-step where they're getting some kickback slides. Now, I just have an issue with him getting swallowed up the middle. I think his size is going to be a concern for me, but I know there's a lot of love for him, and I get it. I'm not going to kill the kid. I watched 2 rough games. My biggest issue is that he doesn't counter moves. He gets caught and he gets swallowed. I know MJW said, he does it later. I watched those tapes, and he doesn't counter. It doesn't happen. And if you can't counter inside, you got nothing. You just get swallowed, and you become a non-factor on a play.
I think there are a lot of guys. I think there are a lot of guys that don't have counter moves. I think that's something a lot of coaches say. This guy can explode. The guy uses his hands enough, and what did he put up, like 35 reps or something ridiculous? And I think when you see a guy without counter moves, they say, I'm gonna teach him. I'm gonna make him elite. I'm gonna make him Geno Atkins. But I think that's something that's probably not as big a deal to some NFL teams, because you look at like Anthony Barr, like he gets stonewalled, and he's gonna go in the first round. And
one of the things I find interesting.
Just last thought here. Go.
Okay, I think the interesting thing is that it's not that he's quick off the ball. He's unbelievably quick off the ball. I think there's very few defensive tackles in the NFL who has that type of speed off the ball, like right now.
Okay.
And I think it's what's big thing is
no more. We have to move on. Sorry. So, it's now on to me, the Tennessee Titans. Guys, I just want to say we're at pick 11, and it's already been about an hour, so we do have to pick up the pace a touch. So, Titans at 11. Any concerns here with a certain position or trade or anything?
GM?
Well,
I'm very concerned that their GM is really bad at his job.
Do we think
Weather's signings have not inspired confidence in me?
They've missed out on the top 2 tackles. don't think tackle is a dramatic need for them. I think Ruse is a good player, but is he going to be there much longer? What can they do here?
He's in his last year.
They have an age issue.
They just signed Orr though.
Right. Yeah, they threw a bunch of money at Orr. They couldn't take the hint that his last team didn't want him anymore.
And Orr's a right tackle and nothing else.
Yeah.
Potentially inside player. Like he's not.
Right.
He's not moving a left tackle. It's not happening. Could the Titans fall in love with Greg Robinson at 11?
I don't think.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there. But I think. I mean, I'm sure they could take him because.
Yeah, I think consensus is Robinson's off the board by now. Typically.
Mm-hmm.
And this go ahead, Trey.
I think the badness of this situation is that if Robinson busts out at tackle, has a really bad time, you got Warmack and Levitra at guard already.
That's a very good point.
So what do you do with Robinson? Do you keep playing him at booking?
So, and that's the thing. Like, Robinson, you don't really move inside because of those two guys. He's not beating Warmack out, I don't believe. Warmack was terrific in his last season in college. Now, last year, ups and downs, but some kinds can happen with rookie guys inside. What other position could they be looking at?
I could definitely see
here?
Anthony Barr as an edge, as a 3-4 outside linebacker here since they're moving to that. Now that Ray Horton's the defensive coordinator.
I think they could take Carr here. I think it'd be a bad pick, but I think they could take Carr.
Yeah, Carr is an option. I just want to get that out there. What about Odell Beckham Jr.?
I don't think so. I think
they're pretty solid at receiver.
Okay.
They have Hunter. They've been a pick on right, and they have Nate Washington.
I agree with all that.
Yeah, I mean they could do Beckham, but yeah, it's hard to pick. I feel like they'd want a bigger outside guy again, another Justin Hunter type, because I feel like I don't know. That's just how I feel. That they're gonna have Kendall Wright doing a lot of that stuff. If that makes any sense.
In essence, to speed this up, I think they're going to go with the best player available on the board. It might not make complete sense with their offensive line, but I think Greg Robinson is going to be a pick here with, like you guys saying, Ruse in his last season or playing right tackle, potentially might not even make the field by end of next year. I think Robinson's a player they can put there and move around and have a six-man offensive line. I just think the value there is just too high for a team to pass on Greg Robinson with what we're seeing. Is there any disagreements with that?
Can't hate it.
I don't disagree.
It's great. I didn't want to have to draft him.
Okay, so
neither did I.
Greg Robinson, OT, right out of Auburn. We can move quickly onto New York Giants with Nath.
All right. Well, I'm still a believer in the best player available, and it's hard to say if the Giants have any huge standout needs. I mean, they're definitely weak at positions, as we can see by this board. But the only two guys really on my board right now are Odell Beckham and Zack Martin. And I love Beckham's game, but I think the thing is with they've got some weaknesses in the offensive line. They're in the middle of rebuilding that. All the old guys from the Super Bowl runs are old and gone. They've drafted Justin Pugh last year to play right tackle. They might move him to left tackle. They might not. They got the pair of guards who are just old as dirt.
I think Pugh will be moved inside for what it's worth.
Really?
I think that's where his end position will be. I think he's playing outside out of need. I think he played it very well. But with that said, I think you have a potential all-pro type talent. I mean, not right now, but potential as inside player, and you have a very good player on the outside. Now, how much do you value all-pro guard compared to very good?
Wait, who's the all-pro guard? What's going on?
Pugh. I think the talent's there.
Well, if you take Zack Martin, how much does that clear up your picture? I mean, Martin.
I agree.
The thing about Martin's upside is probably a left tackle. There's a little, he's a little lower on the board because there are a little more questions, concerns about him. But he is also a guy who, if he doesn't work out there, could probably play right tackle or even guard.
What are the questions about Martin besides his arms? I mean,
I think arms is a big question, though.
Yeah, it's a big question, but I mean, what else? That was a question about Pugh too.
Well, he gets beat inside. I watched the tape on him, did a video on him. He gets beat inside. His footwork gets a little shoddy at times. I think overall, physical, he's great as a run blocker. I think there's concerns in the pass game. And those concerns might even go back to not being able to get a good punch on the inside of a guy. And that's what we saw with Robert Gallery. And really, I mean, Jason Smith never had a technique to get inside either. And that's why he's out of the NFL. I'm not saying that's Zach Martin by any stretch, but I do think that not having that ability to knock a guy off his path can hurt you on the outside. And on the inside, if you get a shoulder into a guy, you can typically succeed a little bit more. That's what he can do.
I don't know. I think he's.
I believe at the Senior Bowl he even took some snaps at center.
He did.
I think they actually moved him, played him at every position at the Senior Bowl.
And with that said, the Giants love moving guys around the offensive line. You know, outside of like Snee, every other player played almost every position on the offensive line.
And really, the truth is that, I mean, Justin Pugh is really the only guy who could say for sure is going to be part of like the future of their offensive line. You know, who knows if they like Will Beatty enough to keep him there? Chris Snee's going to retire soon, right? And you know, the rest of their lineups, guys like Jeff Schwartz and J.D. Walton, and they signed John Jerry. There you go. John Jerry's really going to bring the heat.
Yeah, 2 minutes on this, guys. So sounds like Zach Martin to me.
I think it's going to be Zach Martin. Yeah, like as much as I love Beckham, like I said, this is a hugely deep draft in wide receivers, and just the scarcity of like competent offensive tackles, you know, or even really good interior offensive linemen. It's just such a rare thing. That's why you always see these guys rising. Like you saw it in 2008 when Dwayne Brown and Sam Baker moved in the first. You saw it last year with Justin Pugh and Kyle Long. You know, these guys, the offensive linemen rise because there's just not enough of them who can do it well to fill out the whole league. And so, and because there's less, there tends to be more certainty, if I recall correctly. Like, there's, it's the position with the lowest bust rate, if I recall correctly. Which doesn't mean you can't get bust. I mean, you got your Jason Smiths, your Mike Williamses, but
we're naming 2 guys out of about 30 or 35 that have been drafted.
I ran out of names after that. That is the point.
Yeah. So, and Chris Williams actually extended his career by like a year or 2 by playing inside. Now it wasn't great, but he was in the NFL for an extra year.
that was a Jerry Angelo special right there.
Yeah. So
take a guy, get mad that people, take a guy despite having back problems at like age 21.
Giants shore up the offensive line second straight year. Pugh last year, Zach Martin this year. Trey is now on the clock with the St. Louis Rams, who have their second pick in the first round. First pick was Khalil Mack. Trey is Jeff Fisher going for our defensive player.
No, he's not.
Shocker.
The Rams are going to pick the right guy for the wrong reason.
The Rams are going to pick the right guy for wrong reasons. So let's go. Let's hear it. I like it. I feel like you already have the pick in mind.
They're going to take Odell Beckham Jr. as their last all-in on Sam Bradford.
And Bowens in the chat just said he wanted Odell to drop to the Steelers.
Sorry.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. I think someone trades up for him probably at this point if he falls this far.
If he does.
I think so.
I think there's a lot of interest in him in this range. Yeah, the Jets have been really interested. The 49ers even. I think this is. Yeah, I think this is about where he goes.
I think we all like Beckham. There's not much to discuss with Beckham.
He's great.
So can I push this to? Is this the last hurrah for Sam Bradford?
Yes.
It fucking better be. Jesus Christ, he's had 5 years. They keep throwing receiver talent at him.
Well, this would be the best talent that they have brought in for him, right?
I think if you look at Bradford's career, he has improved somewhat every year, just very slowly, very, very slowly.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's going into his 5th year. He's finally at the point where he's almost average when he's healthy.
Right.
It's kind of damning with faint praise.
And the average is moving up.
In terms of resource, this is even the highest pick they've spent on a receiver. They spent the number 8 on a receiver last year. Jared Cook got a $35 million contract. You have Chris Givens, you've got Brian Quick, you've got Stedman Bailey, Austin Pettis.
Yeah,
that's 4 eligible receivers that you can actually field.
Yeah, I think it's either wide receiver or best corner available.
I'd agree. That's a little rough there with their thing.
I just don't know which corner is the best. I can't really predict.
I think Beckham's just the best player. I think Beckham's a better player.
Yeah, that's why I went with him.
And so the value meets need with the Rams that pick if for some reason Beckham starts falling at 4. Looking at our draft, you guys have done a lot of mocks. How realistic is it so far?
Fairly realistic. I don't know if Robinson falls this far, but everything else looks pretty legit.
Yeah, I mean, because we're not.
I agree.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Well, we value game tape more than workouts, which is why Teddy Bridgewater's number 4 and Greg Robinson 11. But real life is likely to be kind of the opposite. Other than that, pretty realistic, I think. I mean, I think these teams, there are a lot of teams that could use a quarterback. They're just going to start pulling the trigger on them, and it may not be in favor of the very elite prospects, but it'll be soon after that. And
I think there'll be a trade at number 2, but we couldn't really find something.
It's a little difficult for us to come together.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to see anything bananas, like a quarterback going in the top 10 or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe. So ODB goes to the Rams at 13. Try and give Bradford one last hope. And that puts us at the 14th pick. Tweety taking his hated Chicago Bears. Boy.
I can't.
Tweety, you cannot select a punter, okay?
Garoppolo.
I would have taken Martin or Robinson if they fell to the Rams, most likely, though.
Okay, that's good to know.
Can't take Brian Anger. Punter.
We will trade you Brian Anger for 6 first-round picks because you have to have starters when you draft in the 3rd round, guys.
Yeah.
Herbie Vanderkamp is the top punter on my board.
Yeah, with the Bears, I don't think they're going to take a safety here. They don't pick safeties high. Like this, they don't do it. I mean, they picked Major Wright in like the 3rd round, I think. Can't remember the other. They have Mike Brown maybe in the 2nd round. I can't remember.
This is a whole new front office too. Emery and Trestman.
But I mean, they're not changing schemes or anything, and I think they don't. I mean, they don't have to. They lost Tillman, right? He's in Tampa.
No, Tillman. I think they re-signed.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, he's old.
He's old.
He's old. He's real old.
He is real old.
And
Jennings is old.
What kind of defense do they run in Chicago? Are they still running kind of Lovie Smith's defense, or have they switched it up?
I think they're sticking around with that. I don't. Did they hire someone else?
I think it's a lot less of a cover 2 zone as it's cover 2 man. They will play man underneath a little bit more. That's why Tillman's able to get his hands in and force fumbles because he's not reacting to passes out of zone. He's covering guys.
Mel Tucker is the defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, they reroute the receivers a little more.
Mel Tucker's a Jack Del Rio cover 2 guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know, I think they should take a corner. I don't think any of the defensive tackles are good enough here. I don't think you can take. I can take a quarterback. Probably not going to take O-line. I don't think. So I want to go corner.
I actually think it's possible that a team in this range could take a Scott Crichton or Kareem Martin. I don't think that's out of the question.
Wow.
These guys are, 275 pound, 6'4", true defensive ends who flash just incredible talent. So I don't think it's out of the question.
I think it could happen. I don't know. I got them both in maybe like the 2nd round, but I'm just gonna take the best corner, the best player. I'm gonna take Jason Verrett.
Buddy.
They don't seem to have a huge problem with short corners. They have Tim Jennings. He's like 5'3", so. I mean, Verrett's he's 5'9.5". He's not 5'8", so he does everything well. I think I've watched too many corners, and he's the best. He's the best college corner, and I think he's gonna be the best pro corner. The only knock on him really is the size, and he's not that small. He does everything well. He moves well. I think he's really similar to Janoris Jenkins. They both kind of have changed direction. They're both really fluid. They both run 4-4 whatever, and they both play the ball well. And I think Verrett's a better prospect because I think he's a little more disciplined. He doesn't jump routes like Jenkins did. He's a little stronger tackler. I think he can play in the slot. Amazing. I think he can play safety if he wanted. But yeah, I think he's the best corner.
No, and he plays a technique that is so rare and hip to hip, where he's run to guys, following the routes, running the route with the wide receiver, which you see with Werner does with the Titans last year, and hopefully do with the Bucs this year. So, which God knows with Lovey. But with that said, I love the Verrett pick. Any comments other than that? We have a minute and a half.
Yeah, and just another thing is he's the only guy. Him and I think Denard, they actually dominate games. I mean, you look at like Roby or even Gilbert. they don't dominate a game where they take a guy away, they throw him one time, they have eight breakups, whatever, you know. He dominated like 4 games I watched, and I don't know, he was incredible to watch. I think he's...
Yeah, the game you suggested to me to watch earlier today, the quarterback doesn't even look his way by the end of the second quarter. It's over. There's no more looking at Verrett's side of the field. So
yeah, I think he could fall. I think just because size is huge in the NFL, and he's not... And I think 5'10's pretty common cutoff.
I think that's a weird issue because, I mean, his size. Because you got, I mean, how much taller are Roby and, you know, Kyle Fuller? These guys are, what, an inch and a half taller? I mean...
Yeah. Roby's like 5'11", Fuller's 6 foot, I think. And,
it's not like they're, you know, Baptiste. They're not towering over Verrett.
okay.
Yeah, you look at he doesn't play small.
I'm
you look
cutting
at
you
like
off, Tweety. Trey, you get last word. 13 seconds. Go.
Y'all just forgot to mention that Jason Verrett actually had shoulder surgery in May, so sort of worrisome. Probably won't be picked here, but he's a solid player, so I can't hate on it.
Okay, we like Verrett. We have to move on. That's our 5 minutes. Vixt is now up with the Steelers at 15. Go.
Okay, 15th pick, Steelers. I think Justin Gilbert makes a lot of sense here. I think he plays. I think he's the type of corner that they like.
Okay, yeah, Gilbert. Our concerns with Gilbert was that he didn't play man coverage, correct?
No, not very often. No, he pretty much sits off zone coverage most of the time.
Always off the ball, though, right?
He's off the ball a lot.
Pretty far off the ball a lot.
What I know is watching him is if he is on the ball, he's not putting his hands on the wide receiver. So we're not getting like any type of jam looks for him. And, you know, I think that with that, you know, can be a little worrisome. You know, I like to see a guy at least show a jam every once in a while. But, yeah, so that would be the concern, I believe, with Gilbert.
Yeah, the guy, I mean, he's got some interceptions that are just unbelievable. The guy's an incredible athlete.
The only thing I wonder about is him when he plays off. Once in a while, he looks a little stiff. When a guy, you know, on a slant route, he'll be a step late and he'll give up separation and he'll give up a couple touchdowns. But I think he plays the ball about as well as anyone except for maybe Fuller. And he's big. He's like 6. I think he's over 6 foot.
Yeah, he is. He's got good size to him. I'll get that size up on the stream right now. Any other comments? Is Dennard falling for us?
I don't think he's really falling. No, I don't think he'll get picked this high per se.
Yeah, I think Dennard's probably more in the late 20s, maybe in the second round.
Okay.
And I would actually, if I were picking for Pittsburgh, I think I would take Philip Gaines here, but I don't know if that's going to happen because Googling his name, doesn't really come up with much.
Okay. Trey just brought up a very good point with Gilbert. He has 33 and 1/8 arms and bench press 20 times, so concern about strength in the press is not there, but technique. We're still concerned about technique, boys.
Yeah, very technical.
Hey, jamming is technical. You got your hands in, you got to drive them to the outside. If you don't have safety help, you have safety help, you have to take them to the inside.
Cut them off.
Stuff like that. Hey, as a coach, that's some of the stuff that I get caught up in too much at times. I said it to Nate the other day.
Yeah. You're on the clock for the Cowboys. Don't fuck this up.
Oh, boy. So we're
don't jar it up.
Well, typically we go with sort by American, right? Or should I say American?
Yeah, who's the most American guy left?
The most American guy left. Oh, boy. I think Ha Clinton Dix is out.
He's totally out.
Can't select him.
SEC. Good old big boy hitter.
Oh, boy.
Anthony Barr's kind of American.
That's exactly what I was thinking. What do we feel about Anthony Barr?
I think this is about where he goes. Maybe a few more picks or so, or a few more picks. I think probably 10 to 25 is kind of where he's going to go.
What about putting his hand in the ground in this 4-3 that the Cowboys insisting on running?
Hate it.
I have no idea what he's going to do. I mean, he was a running back like 2 years ago. Like
Yes.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know how to play football yet. He has no idea how to tackle. I swear he threw his shoulder at every quarterbacks. He threw his shoulder at quarterbacks when he would miss a tackle.
Personally, I think that this is a defensive pick almost no matter what. I mean, I get that feeling with this team. And
you're right.
Anthony Barr, Dee Ford, Lewis Nix. Those are the three guys that come to mind with this selection.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think Nix can be here in a spot.
I could too.
Yeah.
Dee Ford, I think, is just you can't draft him if you're the Cowboys because there's no way I can put his hand in the ground and trust him.
Yeah. Barr's like 6'5", so he probably has enough frame to be a hand in the ground end.
Vix wants Crichton here.
I would pick Crichton.
Crichton.
I think it's a pretty easy pick.
I
don't know if it's gonna happen.
I don't think Crichton's really special. I think he does a lot of things well. I don't think he does. I don't know what you point to where he says he does that better than anyone else.
I don't know. Vic showed me a bull rush the other day that I was pretty excited about.
A single play? Whoa!
They show you the 10 minutes where he got blocked
over and over.
The
entire Boise game.
So, so do we think that Monty Kiffin is going to sit down and say, guys, we need to teach this Anthony Barr put his hand in the ground?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think that's where they go. Anthony Barr has a frame to build up a little bit. Wasn't he about 15, 20 pounds on him to be a true defensive end? His height and weight up here in a moment.
I think he's 6'5",
yeah,
255.
I do think he has room to add weight for sure.
I don't think he has to add too much if he's a right end, like where it was last year.
Right.
Selby's like 270 as left end.
And Selvey played terrific last year.
Yeah, he played great.
Good job, Jacksonville. But yeah, 6'5", 255. I say 15, 20 pounds, and I think that's a decent size for him to be able to handle whatever type of tackle he's facing. Still going to be on the lighter side, but I think his athleticism is there. The concern is he has less knowledge of football than Bark Mingo did a year ago. And that scares the living hell out of me. But it's not my team.
And Vic's mentioned before where teams ran at him over and over and over. He was the guy they targeted because he doesn't contain and he doesn't.
No.
I mean, he puts his head down and he loses the ball some and he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't have a counter move, which is it's not hugely uncommon for college guys, but he has the widest range I think of where he's going to be. He's going to be DeMarcus Ware. He's going to be Aaron Maben. I mean, I think he could pretty easily be out of the league in 2 years. I think he could be amazing in a couple of years. But
okay,
I just want to mention one more thing before we. I think if the quality O lineman or a wide receiver falls to the Cowboys, ODB or Martin, I think they'll be in a prime position to trade back with someone like the Dolphins, the Cardinals, for offensive line, or someone like maybe even the Eagles for wide receiver or the Chiefs. But in this case, they try to take the best defensive player available because there's probably not much biting on the trade market.
And we haven't had a trade, and I don't think we're going to have one in this mock, but that's a good point. I'll take last word on this. Anthony Barr is a very American name. After the Travis Frederick pick last year, Anthony Barr is definitely the selection for Dallas Cowboys, boys. So we're going to move on to Nath with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. Are we sure there's nobody who wants to trade up with Dallas and lowball them again? Drop 15 spots?
I just don't think there's a wide receiver.
Yeah, there's nobody. The draft gets kind of flat after Beckham for the next 10 picks or so, I think. And I'm not really sure what the Ravens want here. I mean, the Ravens do their own thing, They're always they have their own scouting. They're always going to go by their own board. And I don't know if they're really that concerned about plugging needs so much as just taking the best player. Now, who the best player is a tricky subject. Rumors been heating up lately that they like Eric Ebron. I'm not sure I buy it. I mean, they already have 2 tight ends on the one hand, and saying, Ed Dixon is a guy that should keep you from drafting an elite tight end. I'm just a little shaky on Ebron.
Dennis Pitta is, though. Dennis Pitta definitely is.
Yeah, but
they got Owen Daniels. But,
oh God, did they really? Oh man. Yeah, they're definitely not taking like a 4th tight end. Well, I also just don't think the reason I think the reason Ebron's slipping here is because he's a little what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, because he's a little overrated right now, and he's not Vernon Davis, for example. He'd be a good receiving tight end, but he's not quite that level of over the top crazy athleticism.
I think Ebron would be fine here. I think he has good hands. He's fast. He blocks enough. I mean, you don't really care when you're Jimmy Graham or something like that. But he doesn't really use his body. It's kind of what I wonder. I wonder how much that's going to translate. Like you look at him and Evans. Like Evans catches all the 50-50 balls. I don't know if Ebron will in the NFL. And apparently his teammates hated him, so that's why he's apparently. I don't know.
I was gonna add with Ebron. I think he's going to be a very good receiver, sort of, until you get to the red zone, where I don't think he has that type of ability, the Jimmy Graham, Gronkowski, Vernon Davis type red zone ability. I think he's fine until you get to there, but I think he needs to work on his game at least in that area.
I mean, honestly, I'm not really sold into the pick. That's one of the things I'm looking at, though. What would you guys think about like Lewis Nix here? Does he?
I think I would like Dee Ford more.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, need-wise, I see that.
I don't know if they saw what I saw when they're watching Terrell Suggs try and play football, but Terrell Suggs played football for about 4 weeks, and then he was something on the field. There's no way that they can possibly think going into next season that he is their premier edge rusher and you're going to win that division with Terrell Suggs playing edge rusher.
Well, how about Elvis Dumerville?
Dumerville.
I'm not saying he's enough to, you need 2, but
Dumerville's solid, but Dumerville I think isn't like I don't think he's like an elite enough guy that's going to sit there and say, well, you know what, we're set at edge rusher.
Oh, of course. And okay, and that makes a lot of sense. It's just kind of a toss-up. I'm looking at them. And the fact is, too, they did draft, he's their 3rd rounder last year and a 340-pound guy, Brandon Williams. And, I guess you can run a defense out with 3, 330-plus kind of guys all at once, but that is huge. That is a lot of...
One thing I want to add about Dee Ford is I absolutely love his attitude. I mean, the guy really does think he's the best player in the world, and I don't know. I like that.
He was fun at the Senior Bowl. I got to watch a lot of his interviews. I guess that's what you're talking about right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
calls out Clowney repeatedly.
So I to me, I think he fits in a kind of outside backer type thing that can occasionally, very rarely, put his hand in the ground when needed. And like when that gets done, I think Dee Ford comes off the edge. He shows decent athleticism when he's attacking outside edge of tackles. His inside move, we can talk about that. But
I was just gonna say, I'm just gonna say, you guys convinced me. They've got a need there. They can run the same defense. They got great defensive coaching. They do their own thing. I'm gonna say Ford is the pick.
Oh, we talked Nathan to a pick. He said that wasn't gonna happen tonight.
I was kidding. I said that earlier. I also haven't booed anyone yet. I'm still waiting for the opportunity.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Well, I selected Greg Robinson. Where were you on that one?
Well, the Jets are about to pick, Nate. The Jets are about to pick.
You didn't give me enough picks. That's the problem.
All right, I kind of let us go over top there for a moment. Trey, pick the Jets.
Yeah. All right. So Ebron falls to him, but they were looking for a safety all last year, and they lost Crow at corner. Which one would Russell Jets fans Jimmy's the most?
Oh, if we're talking about cornerbacks, could you imagine them taking Zach Mettenberger here or Derek Carr?
corner back.
I would love Mettenberger here.
I think they could.
I think it actually could happen.
Sure. I actually think they'd want Ebron here. I mean,
I think Ebron is pretty likely in this
Good
game.
I think it sounds like they want a weapon. First round, they want like Cook, so they want Ebron, they want Beckham, that kind of guy.
Eric Decker, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Eric Decker's great. They finally have one NFL receiver.
that plays outside and runs like 3 routes.
Yeah. It's a start. It's an improvement.
It's
That's the
an
thing.
improvement. That's what we're throwing our money at, guys. Guys that run just a handful of routes. That's how we get better, right?
I mean, they kept it at like under $9 million a year, didn't they?
Close enough.
Something like that.
That's Jerry Porter money. Is that what you're going with, Trey? You're going with...
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, he's still thinking. Jets fans are sitting in Radio City Music Hall right now. Just, they are so nervous.
I think they should pick another defender that seemingly doesn't fit into the scheme they run and prove us all wrong.
Kyle Fuller? Or he might fit too well, actually.
Like another,
Yeah, I think they could pick Roby. I think it'd be a bit of a reach here,
Oh,
but
man.
I think they would do it.
They got 3 corners ahead of him, though.
Yeah,
I got like
I don't know. If you guys don't do it, don't just go by our boards. But
Yeah.
oh well, I said 3. I didn't scroll down. I think there's more, but
They do definitely need a corner. I'm trying to think of who is starting for them right now, and my brain's going blank. It's
Milner, obviously. And I don't know who else, because Crow.
They tried to sign pretty much every free agent corner.
Is Kyle Wilson
I
there?
think he's still there.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure he still can't get off the bench. They're in trouble. Dimitri
Yeah.
They signed someone, I think. Someone bad. I can't remember.
I'm seeing Dimitri Patterson. On,
There it is.
Yeah.
There.
It's
Philip Gaines.
2 minutes, 20 seconds.
I think a bigger drop-off will happen at corner if they pass than at receiving talent. So I think they actually snap up corner here.
Okay. Who are they taking?
I think they're going to take Kyle Fuller. He has a lot of man experience, has solid ball skills. Oh, damn it.
Khalil Mack getting selected
Oh,
again.
so close.
That would be like the Jet. Boo!
So Kyle Fuller getting selected.
I like Kyle Fuller more than Gilbert. I think. I think he's really close to Verrett. I think he's got the best ball skills. I think he can play safety. I think he could play.
Right.
I think if you watch the Georgia Tech game, he basically played linebacker. And he's kind of he's not really durable. I don't think he's a little skinny, but he has everything. Like he moves well. I think at the combine him and Verrett were probably 2 of the most impressive guys I saw. He's real fluid.
I actually think the corner with the best ball skills in the draft is probably Victor Hampton, who is absolutely not going to get picked here, but side point.
Kyle Fuller off the board. We're now going to move on with the draft, and we're going to go with Tweety to the Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins. Ooh.
Miami, we
Dolphins.
all know, has issues with the offensive line. They have issues in the middle of their defense. Up the.
It sounds like they want to take Juwan James, Dix's favorite. But I think they would trade down here for that. So if anyone wants to trade up, that would be dandy.
Is there what team would be looking to trade up? Who
Someone
is? Oh, go ahead.
Well, let's say someone who loves Derek Carr, but that's probably going to drop them too far to get the lineman they want.
Mm-hmm. What about Ebron? Is Ebron an option for a team to move up for right now?
I think Ebron's an option for the Dolphins.
Ebron's an option for the Dolphins. Yeah, I mean they've got Charles Clay, but he's like basically an H-back.
I like Clay a lot. I think Clay brings a lot to an offense. But yeah, I do agree. He's not going to line up a tight end. But the thing is you're adding another guy that can't block.
I would say the Chiefs for Ebron, but
I mean,
they're missing their second. They don't have much ammo, so I can't see them moving.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say, Nath?
I was to say it doesn't really matter. Well, I mean, the Miami's receiving talent isn't anywhere that like drafting a receiving tight end is a bad thing. It's Mike Wallace, Brian Hartline, and Clay basically. Oh, and that one cat who showed us stuff when they got on the field.
I wanted to ask
Dark
about
Hughes, I think
Morgan Moses here. What would you think of
Yeah.
that? Need?
I would actually really like the pick. I think Moses is extremely raw, but his rawness isn't like to the point where it's scary. I actually like what he has to offer. Because
one of the questions I wanted to ask about him was he's just ridiculously tall, and I think he lets guys under him. Did you notice that?
It's going to happen. If you watched Ogden play, Ogden had guys into his chest all the time. But the thing is if you have a solid base with your legs and getting good hand placement, it's not going to matter their leverage on you. As long as you've got the strong legs and can attack well. Ogden had some of the best hands of any player that's ever played football. That includes wide receivers and defensive ends because he won every one-on-one at him. Moses doesn't have that. You see Moses go to block somebody and his hands are on their shoulder pads, and it happens so much. And that's where you have to teach this guy some hand technique because his size will be a detriment to him at times, for sure. But with that said, I think there's a lot of upside with this pick. I love what he can bring as an offensive lineman, pass blocking. His issue is run blocking. How often do we see guys that are raw have issues run blocking?
Yeah, that's super weird, given his size.
But because he moves his feet so well, that I think it is able for him to stay in position in the pass block, that he doesn't get that same type of drive when he's going forward, which just blows me away. He can't block at the second level. He can't block linebackers. It just doesn't happen for him. So that's something that has to be taught. I do like him a lot. I don't know if a team's going to be willing to sit there and try and hope that this guy turns out to be great because he could be a colossal bust.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think he has a chance to be a left tackle. I think he has better feet than maybe even Zach Martin. I think he's got really good feet. But I don't think Miami's going to take him. I think it sounds like they want James. I think they take him. I don't think they take him here. I think they probably wait till the second or they trade down.
I don't know if he'll be there in the second. I think
he can actually get picked this high.
Lyman Rise. I think one of the guys goes here every time.
I mean, honestly. James is pretty damn good.
I mean, they need a guy who can play right tackle right away, basically. And I don't know, Moses or James. Moses and James are pretty close on my board, and I think it's really a matter of preference. Probably Moses.
I think James is better right now, and Moses has a higher ceiling.
I think they really want it. They've been looking at a ton of receivers, and they need someone else, I think. So I'm going to go with Ebron here, and I think he's maybe the best player available, so...
Boo!
I boo that pick.
There we go. Finally,
I like it.
I'm booing it.
Oh, Ebron's a fine pick. I mean, I suggest I was gonna boo if that wasn't an offensive tackle. I didn't care who it was.
They're adding another guy who can't block. They have 5 of them already.
Well, they signed Brandon Albert.
That's right. Well, 4.
There you go.
Excuse me. Pouncey's gonna be blocking someone in prison.
Can Pouncey still block if he's not hazing people though? It's a real question.
Okay.
He'll be blocking cock.
Oh boy.
Free Aaron Hernandez.
Vic Cicator, up with the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go, good sir.
I think this is a very interesting spot.
Oh my God, this is.
Oh shit.
What's happening?
I don't know. How many years do you think Carson Palmer has left? I'll ask that.
-1.
Not many.
I think he has 0 good years left, yes.
0 good years.
His last good year was before his knee injury.
I would take Zach Mettenberger here.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's go with this. How does that solve their quarterback problem?
He's a quarterback. What do you mean?
Is he playing this year?
Yeah, he's playing.
He can if he has to. I don't think he has to though. I think Palmer.
Oh, are you talking about the injury?
Yeah, I'm talking about his knee.
No, yeah, he'll be ready.
He looked fine at his pro day. That was pretty ridiculous.
Derrick Rose looked fine for a long time too.
I don't.
10 games.
I've read quite a bit about the knee, and he's said all along, I'm ready for rookie camp, training camp. No, yeah. I mean, who knows? But I mean, he did everything at his pro day, and I actually watched it. I mean, obviously I don't give a shit about pro days, but in this instance, I was interested in seeing how his knee held up, and I didn't see any issue whatsoever.
Yeah,
ahead, Nate.
even as you know, and if he's not 100% yet, he's still got 4 months before the regular season even starts.
Right.
That said, I don't think he has to play right now. I think he could very well. I think he could very well sit for a year. I think Palmer's still got enough in the tank to get through the year, but Mettenberger, I really like Mettenberger. It's a classic pocket passer.
Is Mettenberger going over Carr in this draft?
I doubt it.
I don't think
much.
Possible.
I think it could happen, but I don't think it will.
I think it's maybe like 15%. I think he's better, but Carr is flashier.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mettenberger. I like what he does in the pocket, and that he's kind of him and Bridgewater. I think are the two best at just the pocket movement, just kind of stepping up or sidestepping guys. But the issue I have with Mettenberger is his release. Is everything about him is slow. Like his release, his drop back, the way he moves. He cannot escape anyone.
Is it leftward slow or is it?
No, I actually don't agree with that.
It's Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer.
It's like Carson Palmer. Yeah.
Well, perfect
Quite
situation.
a lot of
Are we talking about
he's got-
Jacksonville?
moves.
Yeah. No, we're talking about
Jacksonville
Mettenberger.
Leftwich or Steelers Leftwich?
What? They got faster or did it get slower?
He got faster with the Steelers.
I don't believe it.
He did.
I don't
He actually got rushing yards.
His feet might have got faster because of the fear of getting hit. If you remember that Steelers offensive line, it was a sieve. But his arm did not get faster. There's no way.
No, he's slow as fuck.
It's not Leftwich. Come on.
So,
Yeah,
okay, back to the pick. Vix, let's hear it.
Okay, I mean, it would be either be that or I would take Calvin Pryor here.
I like either
Yeah.
pick, personally. I don't like either one. But not my pick.
All right,
Go with it, Vix.
Screw it.
Let's get a final answer.
taking Zach Mettenberger.
Hey, it's not that I don't think he's talented. I think it's just, personally, I just couldn't take a guy like that in the first round. But that doesn't mean it's right. I could be very wrong with that. So, just don't like that type of injury to a quarterback and then take him in the first. But McGahee
He did
was
play
selected.
he did play with Landry and Beckham. It's not like he was starved for talent on that LSU team.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Who's the guy behind him that led the drive after he left?
Oh shit! I already forgot the guy's name. He was just
Like they didn't crumble without him. Like it wasn't like when Teddy went down for however long, like a quarter.
I don't
or
know.
something.
They couldn't
10
score in
seconds.
the
10
bowl
seconds,
game.
guys.
I mean, it's LSU. Of course they're gonna have talent behind Mettenberger, but
boy. Nathan LSU. We'll call it there.
what the fuck do you
guys.
want me to say, man?
We're calling it there.
I like Mettenberger's game.
I'm
and
now
like
up
the
on the clock. With
I like the
Packers.
improvement he showed this year too. That's the other thing I wanted to say. He took really well to coaching, and I think so. That's why I like him, is because I think he is projecting still on an upward curve.
Okay, so Green Bay on the clock. In your previous draft, you had Tennessee trading up to this pick. Correct?
Oh, is Carson on the board?
When
Oh, he
Vic
is.
and I did it, this pick? Yeah, when Vic and I did it, they traded up for Carr.
Right, because Carr is
We'll
still
see.
on the board.
I could totally see someone doing that. I could see them taking one of the safeties or even Lewis Nix, maybe. It's a lot of possibilities here. Depends what kind of
I
offense
think
they get.
it's always a safety or an inside linebacker. I think they draft a little more for need than maybe they let on. I don't think they're going to pick I don't think they pick next year. I don't think they're going to. They signed a couple D linemen. I think they're going Shazer, Mosley, Ward, Pryor, Clinton Dix. I think that's where I would look.
Okay. What were trade possibilities here? Tennessee, obviously, with Derek Carr still on the board.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I would say Houston, except Houston's going to riot if they trade for a Carr. So they're not going to have any of it.
I think the Browns could trade up for him. We already got Teddy.
They already took Teddy, yeah.
Yeah.
Nevertheless,
Browns.
they could still trade up for him.
Could be the Browns.
We're going to let
Jaguars.
them fight it out and trade the other one for a 5th round pick.
The Jags have some good ammo. They have 2 4th-round picks.
2 fourths, 2 fifths,
3.
2
I think
sevenths.
3
3
fifths,
fifths and 2 sevenths. Yes.
Yeah, so they've got a lot in 4ths and 5ths.
I mean, that's obviously not great trading into the first 15 picks up. But
Now, I don't hate Pryor. I just kind of think of him as an early second-round pick as a late first. But Green Bay does like need, and they do have a need for safety. How do we feel about Calvin Pryor here?
I absolutely love his just insane aggression, just almost no regard for his body or anything.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. I mean, you watch 5 minutes of him, you see him throwing himself all over the place. His coverage abilities, this is my concern, was he doesn't react to wide receivers. He reacts to the quarterback's eyes. And that can be okay. He has the athleticism, but I like personally. I like seeing corners and safeties that react to what the wide receiver route is and know what's coming, and can read a double move and can read when a guy's running a stop route or coming at a seam. And I don't know if Pryor has that. Does anyone see that in him?
I think he guesses a lot. I think he's. I think what I was I want to like him more because Packers need safety, and I want to see him. I want to see them take something they need. But I think when I watch him, he's a little stiffer than Clinton Dix, and he's not 4'5", he's 4'6", and he misses tackles low when he goes low a lot, and I'm not sure if he's a free safety. I know he can be a strong safety, but I'm not sure how he can cover. I know Ward and Clinton Dix can, but
who would you rather see here, Pryor or Dix?
I would take Jimmy Ward. I would take Jimmy Ward over both of them.
Take Jimmy Ward over both.
I would.
Yeah. Really?
Yep. I convinced myself today. I would take Jimmy. I think they're more likely to take Mosley or Shazer. That would be my guess. One of those two. But I don't know. I would take probably Ward here. That would be my guess.
Well, I'm gonna push you off.
Trade down.
And I'm gonna take Ha Dix.
Yeah.
I do. He's a little stiffer, but I like his ability to play a center fielder. I think even though he doesn't have the physical nature Pryor does, I think he's going to be more of a cover guy. And I think if you're the Packers playing that division, I think with Trestman, the way he runs an offense, the Lions run offense, I think Dix is a better player for them rather than Pryor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dix can play corner. I think he can cover.
So
I agree.
With that said, Pryor might be needed against Jim Caldwell when they're running the ball 60 times, but I'm taking Ha in this spot. We have 10 seconds. Last word, anybody?
Nope.
Okay.
It's fine.
Move on to the Nath with the Eagles.
Best Pac-12 player available.
Shit. Who is actually? Let's find out who that is. Crichton actually. That's
Or Cooks.
Yeah, or Cooks.
Cooks.
Yeah. I'm not just going to take the best Pac-10 player. I mean, they took Lane Johnson last year. Seriously though, I just wanted to see who it was. I don't know. This is interesting for me.
They're moving to a 3-4, aren't they?
They're trying to play a 3-4, yeah. So that makes Nick's really interesting looking at for me. They've got Benny Logan there now, but at LSU he was really more of a 4-3 defensive tackle. On the other hand, Pryor, they have a pretty glaring need at safety. I mean, they signed Malcolm Jenkins, but Pryor is more of the hitter type. Frankly, Jenkins isn't really that good. He's average-ish, I guess. He's not terrible. You don't necessarily have to regret starting him.
They don't have a lot of success with safeties. They've had a lot of bad safeties there. I think Coleman, Patrick Chung, Nate Allen. It's a lot of bad safeties.
Yeah, their depth chart right now in Ireland is Malcolm Jenkins and Earl Wolf with Nate Allen as the backup. And they drafted Jaquan Jarrett, 2011 second round, cut him after a year.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
They cut Patrick Chung after 1 year, signed him.
Yeah. So they might take Pryor just to be like, all right, you know what, let's forget about it. But I think Nix is a really intriguing pick too because, I mean, he had a little bit of a down year in 2013, but I mean, he's one of the reasons, people thought Manny Te'o was a legitimate Heisman candidate. And I mean, a 330-pound cat who can move like that is a pretty rare thing, So I think it's going to be one of those two guys. And I actually like Pryor more than Clinton Dix as a fit here, so I was going to take Nix if you went with Pryor, but now I have a toss-up. So, any thoughts?
Take a look at Louis Nix in 2012, and he was absolutely playing injured in 2013. I don't think there's any question. When you watch him play, there's pretty large discrepancy in his game from 2012 to 13.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that seems to be the word on him, and right, like if you can keep him healthy, like he could be a huge, I just, still think Planet Theory applies to a great deal here. It's just there just aren't enough.
Do you know of the Chip Kelly quote?
What's that?
What was it? He says, big guys defeat little guys or something like that. He said in the draft last year before the draft.
Oh God.
Yeah, and
they took a philosophy.
They took a big guy last year. Nix is a big guy, and I mean, who the fuck doesn't want to draft a guy who calls himself Irish Chocolate? Like, let's be real.
I like Nix a lot. No, I told you guys earlier, I didn't watch any of his 2013 films. I was like, I watched so much on him last year because I was asked to. And I just didn't watch any in 2013. Apparently, it's a huge discrepancy between the two playing.
It is.
Yeah, he was definitely hurt, I think.
But
I couldn't find good games. 2013, it was painful. But it's 2012. I think he handles double teams like he does what a nose tackle does. Like I think he plays to his strengths, and I'm not sure if he'll be able to actually get sacks in the NFL. I don't know if it really matters, but
for what it's worth, I thought he would have been right behind Sharif Floyd on the defensive player list last year, but he was definitely behind Floyd and the best player in the draft, maybe defensive tackle wise a long time, Starlow. But are we thinking Nix here?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm leaning toward now. Big guys beat little guys. It's true, and even if he doesn't get sacks in the NFL, if he can tie up enough blockers, he's still a great piece for that defense. I mean, he's got the size. He's a natural nose tackle. Like I said, these guys are just hard to find. The guys you see fall in the later rounds are generally the guys who are just big and can't get any push, and just It reminds me of there's an old. Speaking back to high school football days for a bit, but the first time you go out and play JV and you see there's a big guy on the JV team who's twice bigger than else, and the first thought is, oh shit, I don't want to go up against the huge guy. But you get a little older, you realize that huge guy's the softest guy on the team, or he wouldn't be fucking playing JV. What I'm trying to say is that Nix is the guy on the varsity team who's huge, and so that's why he's a first round pick.
Okay, Nate, we got 20 seconds.
Nix it is.
Nix it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll update that. And Trey, you're with the Chiefs.
Quarterback, it's happening.
Go.
Oh man. Oh God, they could take Carr here. They totally could take Carr. Oh, that's so exciting.
After dealing with Alex Smith's limitations, the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid are just tired of it.
Oh man, this is exciting.
And what is...
Apparently, negotiations have completely stalled on an extension with Alex Smith as well.
Alex Smith is worth $50 million.
Over 90 years?
That is right.
I really would like to...
USFL contract?
Bobby Bonilla's got one with the Mets.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see them take McCarron here, just so they can have two Alex Smiths. And
God.
It would
He
be
totally
amazing.
could.
AJ McCarron did say he's expecting himself in the 16 to 35 range.
With all this said, I don't know if Andy Reid's the type of guy that fall in love with Derek Carr.
I don't know. I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think he's more of, snap pick Teddy Bridgewater if he's there. Absolutely. That's happening.
I think he would snap Teddy if he fell here, for sure.
Yeah.
But Derek Carr, I don't know. It's just really speculative. And obviously they don't have their second round pick. Let me look at what this says.
Well, Jordan Matthews is sitting there.
Yeah, I really like Jordan Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for Alex Smith. I mean, the guy, he's more of a slot receiver, I suppose, at the NFL. He's a big guy, gets open really well over the middle, not afraid to catch those type of balls. And, I think for Alex Smith's limitations, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Could the Chiefs be in play for another tackle here, like Morgan Moses?
Maybe.
It's certainly, yeah. I mean, They lost their left tackle, and there's some questions whether the new guy can handle the job, and they're going to need a right tackle anyway. So, yeah, certainly in play.
And also, 2 of their top 3 guards are impending free agents.
Right, and the guard is definitely an issue. Calvin Pryor
What do you
here.
think about between Moses and Antonio? I know you're taking a look at both of them. What do you think?
You know, has very solid technique. You know, you're looking at a guy that's definitely probably a safer pick than Moses. I think that's the classic spot of you have a guy that is going to play a position well and probably going to be consistent, probably play a long time, versus a guy that might not play as well but could be very, very good but could bust. You know, I think that's one of the situations where you're like flipping a coin saying, do I want the safe pick or do I want the pick that's going to take me to the promised land with the Orlando Pace or Ogden type guy? Antonio, I don't know about late first round, though. I liked him a lot, but I just think there was too many question marks with him with regards to his ability to like really push off the ball and stay solid in the pass game. I think he's going to be a great find for someone in the second round. I don't like him this early.
How about C.J. Mosley?
What's opinions on Mosley?
Who do they have beside Derek Johnson there?
Well, they're running so many
I don't even know.
linebackers on and off the field.
Yeah, they've got some.
That's
Right.
true.
I mean, they got Houston and what's his name?
Tamba.
Tom Ball.
Yeah, Holly
According
and
to
Derek Johnson. I mean,
Our lads, the other inside linebacker is a Nico Johnson, the 4th round
Never heard
pick
of him.
last year. Backed up by
last
Joe
year.
Mays, Jordan Fight. Oh, jeez. Yeah,
1
not
minute,
much.
guys. 1 minute.
I mean, who do you think the best
Yeah.
guy is here?
that
I'm
would
having a
make
tough time here.
Matthews makes a lot of sense to me. I just,
I think
Tackle.
Matthews or Moses personally. That's where I would lean.
wouldn't be surprised if they went with the quarterback, or if someone tried to trade up for one here
This is
because
yeah.
so the chefs could pick up an extra pick or 2.
Trey could always go with Telvin Smith.
It's true. Best and all available. I'm going to go with Jordan Matthews here.
I like it. I think
Alshon
it's fine.
Jeffrey produced in the SEC.
Really like it.
1 year later, he was Alshon Jeffrey for the Bears last year.
And don't forget, first cousin once removed from
Jerry Rice.
Oh, God. We'll end with that with the Chiefs, and we'll move on to the Bengals with Tweety. Sir,
Bungles.
I
what?
also like to remind people every chance I get that
Beep, beep.
Someone's phone. Someone's Android's running low.
Yep, that's mine.
Okay.
My internet does not work. Only my phone internet kind of works.
Okay.
better get through this before we lose
Sweet.
it.
Bengals.
Tweety.
The Bengals won a corner pretty badly.
Okay.
They worked out like everyone.
I can see
And-
Rick here though.
Yeah, I could see that. But they they drafted Kirkpatrick. They wanted someone that can press. He didn't work out too well. Leon Hall tore his Achilles again.
I know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Darquez Denard.
Denard going.
Yep.
Was this a fall for him?
No, I don't
No.
think so. I think this
I
is
think-
very good. Very good.
Like 3 months ago, maybe when people thought he was the best corner. I think maybe, but he didn't run amazing. He ran like a 4.5, and he was a little stiffer than I thought he would be at the combine. He never plays off, but he's the only corner that presses every play. He does it well. He sticks to his guy. He plays the ball reasonably well, I think. He's not fast. That's a problem. That's why he's here now. He's not top 10, and he's not going to go ahead of Gilbert or anything. I know Smith doesn't like him. He thought he was like second or third round, but
Well,
I think he's fine.
He's not here to complain about it. I
Yeah.
think it's good to get a quick pick in because we're kind of pushing the clock right now. So that pushes us into Vicks with the Chargers.
Okay.
San Diego's an interesting team, I think, here.
Got
They need a lot of things.
Yet they're a playoff team.
Okay, they have Weddle. Weddle's kind of a do-it-all safety.
Greatest player of all time. Yep.
Who do they got beside him?
That's shockingly no idea.
Nobody?
Brandon Taylor, I think. They
Marcus
drafted-
Gilchrist or Brandon Taylor? Marcus Gilchrist is a safety now, I guess. Jeez, they're
They can take one.
also trotting out King Dunlap at left tackle.
Oh my
Ooh.
God.
That's not good.
Can't do
And Derek
that.
Cox is their best corner.
Oh, I forgot about that. I thought Andrew Whitworth was still there. I guess not.
They signed Derek Cox. I'm not sure.
Hear that, Needle? Derek Cox.
They had him last year.
No.
They
was-
No,
Okay.
he's with the Vikings now. Oh my god.
Oh shit!
I think they really like massive offensive linemen. I really think Morgan Moses makes a lot of sense here.
I mean, that's the type of guys they've been bringing in, isn't
What
it?
was it? Andre Smith, you know?
Can't be fucking worse than King Dunlap, right?
No.
Oh.
I think Moses is fine. I think he gives you something that potentially, like we said, it could be a huge player for you. If he busts, he goes inside, and they need help all on that line. So, that's fine there. They're such a weird. I just don't know about that team. They're Phillip Rivers carrying them for the next 5 years, and we'll never see Phillip Rivers win a title because that's frustrating to see a player like him just kind of squandered.
Well, the owners hung on to AJ Smith at least 2 years too long when Cleary lost his fastball and was making a lot of big mistakes. And
Yeah.
kept waiting and waiting till the roster actually bottomed out to do anything.
Oh,
Trading it for Ryan Matthews.
I actually thought I was picking for the Bengals for a second. But yeah, the Chargers kind of the same situation, same needs, I think. And they also like really large offensive linemen. See, DJ Fluker last year. Yeah,
I was wondering.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, but they picked Fluker last year. I think that would be a great bookend. You got two just absolutely massive guys.
I forgot about Fluker, but
with
yeah.
Fluker, Moses. I think that'd be interesting.
So Morgan Moses, I keep on screwing his name up. We're going with him at the Chargers. Everyone cool? Now you know who you're drafting for.
yeah, I think
it
it makes sense for them too. I think they have kind of similar needs as the Bengals, who I mistakenly thought I was picking for.
Okay, so Morgan Moses, OT, Virginia, now a San Diego Charger. That leaves me up with the Cleveland Browns' second pick. And who they take first? They took
Teddy.
So, Josh Morgan on the outside, Teddy there. Offense and Trent Richardson gone. So offensively, they're terrific.
Josh Gordon, not Morgan.
Yes.
Josh Gordon. Who's Morgan? Who's I
I think
of?
Josh Morgan.
He's the former Redskins player.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Nath.
Potatoes.
I said a racial slur.
Oh, yes.
It's not a racial slur.
Red
potatoes.
Red potatoes. Yes.
We're just talking about
Sorry.
the Washington red potatoes.
Now Cleveland, obviously sitting here. Teddy Bridgewater taken. Now defensively, they have Hayden. I see cornerback is a need for them, but Hayden can't do it all himself. Is there even a corner really you can take here?
I think Philip Gaines is kind of an easy pick.
Yep, that's who I knew you were gonna say. Why don't you tell us a little bit? Why don't you say a little bit about Philip Gaines? I know you like him a lot.
I mean, you watch the Marshall game. Receivers, try and double moves. It's just nothing. They just cannot get open against him. And he has one of the most, Louisiana Tech, I think. Just I could not believe that he intercepted this pass. They threw this ball to the outside. He's meanwhile in man coverage, on a drag route over the middle. And until they showed the replay, I didn't even realize that he was the one that intercepted the ball. I just could not believe. I think his change of direction, all that, his ability to run with the guy is just unbelievable.
I'm going to say a name. You guys give me your opinion. Calvin Pryor.
Actually not. I mean, that's not bad. Who do they have at safety now?
Well, TJ Ward's gone.
Yeah, they replaced him with
Whitner. Now, is this redundant, having Whitner and Pryor?
Yeah, I don't like that fit too much.
Might not be when you see Whitner step on the field, but I mean, look at Tushawn Gibson and Johnson Batamosi listed at free safety. Who the fuck are these people?
I have no idea.
So, Tweety, you do not like Pryor here?
I don't like it with Whitner. I think that's a little redundant. I think that's kind of like what the Jets did with Jeremiah Bell and Laurent Landry, and that. I mean, I don't like it too much with them. I think Ward would be fun here. Jimmy Ward, gentleman. Yes.
I don't know much about Ward, so you guys have to.
How old is
Steve
Whitner?
Barnes.
Is he really a guy you pass on, or
So yeah, that's kind of like what my feeling is, personally. Is Whitner really a guy that you can't just?
They gave him like four.
Yeah, that's
They gave him like $20 million for like 4 years. I think they gave him more than Ward got. Yeah,
Holy shit.
I did not know.
he got more than Ward. But
now I got to look up this goddamn Whitner contract.
Oh,
that
God.
That's unbelievable.
He got more than Ward.
Yeah.
I that changes my opinion on this. You can't invest that and then have a guy playing the same position. Yikes. I was gonna go Pryor here.
Look at receiver.
Receiver. I don't know about this. I actually.
I would take Kareem Martin or Scott Crichton here, I think. But I don't think you've seen.
Aren't they playing a 3-4? Or are they?
I don't think
know.
so.
I don't. But can they add another pass?
TJ Mosley's a potential, I guess.
I don't
We're
think
talking financial investment in position. Paul Kruger and Mingo.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you could add another pass rusher to that team.
That's true.
Not to mention you still have Sheard there.
But didn't they lose DeQuell Jackson?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
4 years, $28 million. What the fuck?
What?
Should learn how to play safety.
Serious? 15.5 guaranteed. What the?
Holy shit.
Well,
Ward got like 4 for 24. I want to say.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's.
So.
and this was after they made Farmer the GM, right?
Yeah. that was
Jesus
coach.
Christ. Browns,
Maybe
man.
Pryor is the pick with him at GM. Personally, I think I'm gonna agree with Vix here. Actually, I think Philip Gaines, you sure up that defense. The offense is gonna be what it is. I think you have Joe Thomas, you have Gordon, and you have Bridgewater there. I think if you get this pick, you have Bridgewater on a team. I think you can safely take a corner, and now you have a short up defense with $28 million Whitner in the backfield. Any disagreements?
Nope, looks good.
Gaines?
Love it.
My life a lot harder, but
Philip Gaines to Cleveland Browns. Nath, you are now up with. How did you get them? The Saints.
oh, I know it's beautiful. There's going to be a beautiful day when I drafted Gaines and explained to everyone how, for some reason, no one's talking about him, even though not just me, but 4 of the other guys graded him as a first round, like unanimous first rounder among everyone who's watched him significantally.
Marcus Martin.
Oh my God!
He said it. I didn't say it.
Don't even joke about that. You know what I actually think?
He's at the draft.
I think this is an excellent place for a trade down with a team that wants Derek Carr. Now that Gaines is gone, I mean, if we're talking about not being able, you can't draft Calvin Pryor when you've got Kenny Vaccaro doing the same thing, and you just spent like $50 million on Jarius Byrd.
Yeah.
Crichton is a great pass rusher. I would love to have, but he's really, he's a big guy. He's 270. He's more of a 4-3, and I think they're going to try to get back to the conventional 3-4. You know what I mean? So I mean, they love his talent, but I don't know if they're a good fit. I don't like Marquise Lee here I don't like the receivers here with the depth at receiver here. There's not a lot of good fit in this next tier for the Saints, and if they can trade down,
Take another safety. I think they can take a safety.
I don't think they can with a first-round pick and a $54 million contract.
Oh fuck! They signed Bird. Oh
yeah, Bird contract. You can't.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about anyone in this next tier, as a fit right now. So yeah, I think if there's a team that.
What about
Jaguars will
a
trade
pass
up.
rusher?
Well, like I
Like
said,
a Marcus Smith, something like that.
I think
Bradley Roby.
Adrian Hubbard, Kyle Van Noy.
Well, what I'm saying is that's why I think they'll trade, because I think you can still get one of those guys in the third.
Right, a lot of value. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, a team's going to want Carr here for sure. Carr is probably realistically going before this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, if I can't, trade down, probably Christian's going to be the pick, because you can never have too much outside pass rushing, even if, they were able to get funky with the defensive front when they had to last year because of all the injuries at outside linebackers, so they could certainly do it again. That said, I think I'd be, pushing really hard to field calls from the Texans or Jags or.
One thing about Crichton is he's not a linebacker, but I do think he can play 5 tech. I mean, he plays literally everywhere on the line. He plays nose tackle sometimes, not very often, but he plays defensive tackle. He plays 5 tech. He plays defensive end, wide 9. I mean, he plays all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, and that versatility is one reason I think, he would be one reason I do think he'd be a good pick here, or why I think a guy like Van Noy might prove to be a good pick the next round. But like I said, I don't think one of those teams that likes Carr is going to try to get in here if he's not off the board already. I feel pretty strongly about that, and so I think in reality we're going to see an offer from one of those teams, and the Saints trade down.
Okay.
Since I guess we're only doing one round, I don't know if I'm actually fielding said offers, but if that would be more realistic, or if I should just take Crichton and keep moving.
I don't have anything in mind. Someone else?
I think we should just have no trades, basically.
At this point,
It takes a while to iron them out.
I'm fine with that.
So it's Scott Crichton.
Yeah, let's do it.
From a little bit I watched it from.
Man, I just hate passing on Pryor because even based on my board, I think he's the talent to go here. But I just
one thing also to note about Crichton is he was an early entry, so I think that he's younger. I think that makes some difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we can move on to Trey, picking for the Carolina Panthers. So, can you select a new head coach?
Nope.
No riverboat Ron Love?
No.
I think Juwan James is a slam dunk here, honestly.
I agree.
Really?
I was thinking someone else.
I was thinking Jordan Gross retired. They've got Byron Bell and nothing at tackle.
Yeah, they don't have anything.
It's dire.
They can take any defensive back.
What about Marquise Lee?
I would say what I'll say is their wide receiver situation is as dire as their offensive line, but you're going to be able to get wide receivers in round.
Yeah, I think the
defensive
depth
backs,
of this class.
You are not
receiver.
Yeah, you maybe get a starting tackle in round 2 if you're lucky. But
yeah, I think they'll be under a lot of pressure for a tackle.
Who is a better player? Juwan James, Marquise Lee.
I think Juwan James.
Got him lit.
I'm not high on Lee though.
I think close.
My board literally has him at 30 and 31, so I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, who did they have at safety? They just gave Godfrey a pay cut. They got Roman Harper. Anyone? Roman Harper?
I cannot believe they paid to get Roman Harper.
All I know is he was in a YouTube video for Madden once.
Yeah, I think they can take a corner of safety here pretty easily.
I don't know. I think all the first round corners are gone, and I mean, Pryor is great. Pryor is great value here, and that'll make a lot of sense. But their offensive line is in shambles. They had 2 legit players on it last year, and one of them just retired.
Is Pryor on a free fall?
Maybe.
I think there wasn't a need. I think maybe you'd have like a trade up.
Mm-hmm.
How is there not a need at safety? They have.
Not necessarily need, but it's like you don't have an offensive line.
I would take Pryor over any of the offensive linemen. I would take Ward over any of the offensive linemen. I don't think any of them are. I would take Gabe Jackson maybe. I like him a lot, but
I think it's a little early, personally, for Gabe Jackson. But
I think James is the great pick here, even if he just plays right tackle. That's just how bad their situation is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I really loved James throughout the year. I mean, I watched quite a lot of Tennessee offensive line because they have, 4 guys who declared, I think. Stone, Fulton, Richardson, and James. And, for a while there, Antonio Richardson was kind of obviously the best one. And it just never made sense to me. Like, James is just absurdly better. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I'm going with James here.
Okay. Juwan James off the board from Tennessee, offensive tackle.
Yeah, I just don't think, like I said, there just aren't enough quality big guys to go around. And you can get away with without running a defense without a 3-4 big guy like Knicks, but you can't get away with running an offense without offensive tackles.
Really?
It's self-evident that sounds.
You got Cam Newton. Can you do some kind of long snapping type of experiment?
Actually, they should probably take Carlos Hyde here. Really just...
Established.
Juwan James' pick is in. If you notice, under team needs, though, I did list wide receiver twice for the Panthers.
Yeah,
I saw that.
In the last,
I think you underestimated. I mean, twice. I think more like 3 or 4.
Well, yeah, I probably underdid it.
I was actually thinking about Cooks there.
I actually, what I said in our last mock, I actually did this James in the first, and then just went wide receiver second and third round. I think it's deep enough. You can get 2 starters there. I had, Paul Richardson and Allen Robinson, for example.
Alberdaris, you got Paul Richardson, you got Martavis Bryant if you want to take a flyer. You got all kinds of guys. Bruce Ellington.
Crazy deep this year.
All right, 4 minutes for New England Patriots.
15 guys graded third round or better.
Let's go, Tweety.
Yeah. All right. What do we want from the Patriots? I really want to take Dominic Easley, but I think he would upset
that's
people.
so tempting.
I don't know if he could. I'm trying to think. I feel like that's the kind of guy Patriots would take. They could stash him if they need to. I think the Seahawks might take him too. Easily, maybe Tuitt, but I think Tuitt's trash. Who else is there? I don't think they're going to take a safety. They have a couple guys to fill the spot next to McCourty.
Yeah, it's hard to think the value,
Ryan Shazer? Anyone? Ryan Shazer?
I'd probably start
I think they could take
him.
it.
It'd be awesome.
Someone will, but that doesn't.
I think they're going to take him.
No.
I don't want to sit here and white knight Ryan Shazer, but I might have to.
I don't even like him that much. Are you seriously a fan of him?
I'm not a fan, but I think he can be good.
What? He's what?
I think he's going in the first round. I think he has plenty of upside if that's what you're looking for. Can
you tell me how many linebackers in the NFL have survived with zero instinct where the ball is?
I mean, what did Alec Ogletree have? I mean, Ogletree. I look at the
outside linebacker.
They can both play outside linebacker. I think they can both be starting.
Ogletree played outside linebacker. We're thinking maybe this guy can play outside. He played inside linebacker. That's what he played.
I think you can start him at will. I think he can. He can cover in the NFL. You can start in the NFL. That's how it works. And
that I will agree with.
And I mean, you look. I compare him a little bit to Ogletree and Zack Brown, the Titans linebacker. They both can run, and they both don't like to tackle, and they both don't like blockers. They avoid them at all costs, but they can run and they can cover. And he gets in the backfield. He had the best work out of any linebacker, something close. I mean, it was like 4.38 or something ridiculous.
Right, and
so he's going first round. I think it's gonna happen just because they look at him and like, whoa, Jesus, this guy can run.
And obviously, with athleticism, a team isn't going to take a shot on him. I think we all agree with that. Is the Patriots that team? Do you truly believe that?
I don't know.
I think you got, is Kyle Van Noyers or Marcus Smith really that less athletic? You know what I mean?
I think Shazer's way more. I think Van Noy is really tight. I don't know what he does well enough. I don't know what he does amazing.
1 minute, guys.
He does a lot of things okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and.
I think all the guys Vic named are better than Shazer, but
I'm interested here.
You know what?
I'm interested. I want to see where he goes. He does.
Boo.
It's upside. We all understand upside. I don't think there's. First note.
My report on him was, the first.
Bill Belichick is getting senile.
Runs around a lot. Runs around real fast, not doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair to him. I think he does. I think he makes a lot of plays. I mean, he had like 16 tackles in that game and a ton of things.
He has the speed to make plays, but like the guy said, he has no instincts. And also, if he gets blocked, it's over. I mean, like I said, that Indiana film, you can watch.
When he lets guys get on him, he's small and he's at a little weight. But what he does, he avoids them. I mean, he takes a sidestep. And then that's how he makes plays. But,
okay, Nate, last word, 5 seconds.
Is he going to be easier to avoid? Is he going to have a harder time avoiding them in the NFL?
It depends who's in front of him, I think.
That's the last word.
Indiana was blocking him. NFL guys are going to flatten him if they get
Okay, guys, moving on. San Francisco 49ers, Vix is up with them. Vix, what do you got for San Francisco, Vix? San Francisco.
Okay, so for Saints. Oh, no. Just kidding.
49ers.
Let's see here. Who did they draft last year at safety? Name is blanking.
Eric Reed.
Is he
He is, I think, more of a free safety.
Okay. I actually like Pryor here.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense for the talent.
Oh boy.
I mean,
Could you imagine him with Jim Harbaugh? This is just hitting her all over again. This is what's happening. This is gonna
Exactly. You replace him.
You're replacing a guy you want to get rid of with the same player. And wasn't the problem that he wasn't? Oh man.
I think there's some other choices. I mean, what's the deal with Bowman? Is he out the year? Is he out for the year?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
He broke his leg, right?
Oh, it's fucking ugly injury.
I think it's like halfway. They're looking probably halfway through the year or so.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe Mosley, but I don't know if that's what it means.
I will say this: you do put Pryor in that team without Bowman. You are at least adding another presence inside for maybe stacking the box with the safety. You know, you are adding a presence against the run. I mean, Pryor has to start day one. I mean, that's the type of player he is.
Also thinking about, a replacement for the guy who goes to the airport and threatens to bomb it.
There's something wrong with that? I thought that's just something we do. Isn't that what you just do in the
That's
weekends?
a little bit nuts, I think.
It's a practical joke.
I think he's a little bit nuts.
What do you think of a Marcus
What would
Smith
convince
here?
you?
Ooh.
What do you think of Marcus Smith? I know you took a look at him.
I think this is way too early for him.
Too early?
Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't.
I like him
I
and
couldn't
all.
take him here. I think. Ooh, what?
What about Atauchu?
Yeah, I got a lot of guys like I got Van Noy,
The thing with Smith.
I got what's his name from Boise, Lawrence. I mean, I got all these guys.
Yeah. I don't hate Smith there because Smith is going to win one-on-ones. He's going to beat you inside. He's going to beat the living hell out of you inside. Yeah, it's what's going to happen constantly. You're going to add him to that type of defense where he's going to be playing outside the tweener spot.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a guy you're going to want hand in the ground. I don't know if he's going to. Is he going to play the J.J. Watt spot? Can he play that?
No.
I don't think so either. And I really think you're hurting his value by putting him standing up.
I think for that position, you would kind of go towards an Adrian Hubbard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I just think Smith needs to have his hand in the ground to succeed at the NFL.
Yeah, I think actually, the 49ers are rumored to, they're trying to trade up for receivers. So I think Brandon Cooks maybe.
Okay.
Well,
minute 20.
Honestly, Pryor's too high on my board. For a team that's just can afford to take whoever.
I'm going to take Calvin Pryor. I think
I have him as number 20. And we're
so do I. I have him pretty high up.
Like, I just think this is, they have 5 more picks in the top 100. They can address needs later.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, I'm going to go with Calvin Pryor.
Okay, Calvin Pryor.
Good pick.
Off the board. Finally, the free fall has ended. The green room shots are now done. The Brady Quinn-esque crying is over.
Geno Smith.
Whatever. Now we're on to the Broncos. Huge need for quarterback that doesn't choke in the playoffs.
I want to say just about quarterback, Brock Osweiler was completely awful in the preseason, and I wouldn't be shocked to see them get another guy. I think I would really be surprised if Osweiler is the next guy in line in Denver.
There's no way Derek Carr's pick here.
Probably not.
No, they got to get someone who's going to
play immediately.
Help them now, yeah.
What about they have really no linebacker, middle linebacker.
I think this is Mosley. I think this is Mosley all day, every day.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That actually does make a lot of sense.
They have Trevathan, who's really good here.
Mm-hmm.
They let Woodyard go. Jamar Chaney is currently their middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Seems like
oh, jeez. Yeah, gross.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you're taking Trey Turner, Gabe Jackson.
Not impossible. They're supposed to be moving Orlando Franklin inside this year, though. They might take a right tackle.
They could.
I think they're putting Clark there.
Oh, right. That makes a lot of sense.
So, I mean, I personally, I think C.J. Mosley. I like C.J. Mosley more than Telvin Smith. What's the opinions there?
I think they're close.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, I think it just depends what you need.
They're different. They're different players. Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah. Well, Telvin Smith is, kind of fits.
He's a cover guy.
Yeah, but I think he kind of fits more with what Denver's going to want to do. Is that possible?
Yeah, I think he might be an outside backer in their scheme, though. In that sort of Trevathan role. Like, I don't know. Either one would fit either way, I guess. I think Telvin's a slightly better prospect. But yeah, right. But that's largely because I think coverage is more important in today's NFL. Whereas if
that's a very good point.
Thumper and a guy who's going to rack up tackles behind the defense, then Mosley might be the pick. So it's just really what you prioritize in this position.
Personally, I think that an inside linebacker guy is going to help them in an interior. I know they got Knighton, but I'm not sold on him continuing to be that guy that's going to stop every run play at him. I think Mosley's going to be their pick. I think that might be a touch of a reach, though. I will say that.
I just want to point out that apparently John Fox likes Hageman. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
Oh God, no way.
You could do it. I wouldn't argue if you did it. I don't know how I feel about him as a prospect.
I can't.
But,
I think this is about where I put him. But.
Go nuts if you want to.
I can't. I'm taking C.J. Mosley. I think that's the best pick for them, honestly.
No, I agree. I was just thinking, what about a guy like Kareem Martin? Any chance of something like that happening?
I really love Kareem Martin. I mean, the guy is huge too, and he does have NFL type speed off the edge, and he's 275 or whatever.
Man,
I think Kareem Martin worked out a lot better than he actually played.
Yeah,
I didn't see a lot of it.
Did you
watch
never stop
the
a team from taking
Pittsburgh
someone in
game?
the first round, though.
I'm not sure. I watched maybe 2 games. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Watch the Pittsburgh game with it's
Tom
not
Savage.
on. Yeah, just watch Tom Savage, but pay attention to Kareem Martin. He just destroys him that game. The whole game is just Kareem Martin, throwing guys around and ragdolling Tom Savage.
Oh, poor Tom Savage.
Okay, C.J. Mosley to the Broncos, which leaves us with the penultimate pick. Seattle Seahawks.
The ultimate pick.
Ultimate pick. I said penultimate.
That was the penultimate pick.
Yeah. My bad.
All right.
You're the English guy.
Common mistake, actually. Weird, because it's only one off, so it's not that bad.
It could have done worse. I could have said it's the alpha pick.
That would have been the complete opposite. You're right.
So,
right,
let's go.
Man, So it was mostly okay. Seattle is a bizarre team to pick to try to draft for because they don't have a lot in the way of huge needs.
I really think Easley is a guy they would take. I think that's
right.
Yeah.
I could totally see them taking Easley. I could totally they're a team that both really does their own thing and also is good at restocking, so they don't have a lot of holes. They could take defensive tackle. They're probably going to want a big guy, someone they can rotate in. They might need a receiver, but they're not crazy about the receiver value right now.
I was just going to ask, what do you guys think of Kelvin Benjamin as a prospect?
I definitely need to watch more of him. I don't know if I can comment.
I don't know. I kind of think you can't. He's not really a bad pick. In the top, I don't know. Once you get to maybe 30, you can defend him. He's kind of how I thought of Patterson last year, where at a certain point it's he could be amazing or he could be terrible, but he's got enough upside to where.
Yeah, I think I have him more towards the back of the second. He's just he's got to show some more football skills. That's the word I'm looking for. I could totally see Seattle taking him here, though, and just being he's the big guy. Russell will throw it up to in the end zone. And
Trey, what do you say about
then catching
Benjamin?
8 touchdowns as a rookie, even though he has 30 catches total or something?
Yeah, Benjamin's certainly in play here. I think in the NFC West, they're probably terrified of those D lines they're facing, so they could just pick a guard here.
They could totally,
I'm guessing they trade down a lot here.
They could totally pick a guard or even a tackle.
I'm guessing they trade down here.
But. Yeah.
If they get the opportunity, yeah.
With Derek Carr still on the board, guys.
Yeah,
and they don't have the 3rd round pick either, so.
Yeah, well, they'd be happy to get extra picks for sure, but barring that scenario, I mean, technically I guess Jernigan and Hodgman over easily, but neither one's I don't know, that exciting to me. They're good, solid. Well, Jernigan's a solid player. Hodgman is potentially a great player, I guess. Easily would be one guy. I think they would just say, you know what, fuck it, let's take the chance on getting, just an absolute ace inside rusher. We can afford to.
Who is their Leo now?
It's still Bennett, right? Is he not the guy?
I thought Bennett was a 3.
Oh, Averill then? I don't. Is this
I think I got
Irvin
Averill
from
there.
the? Wait, which one's Leo?
Well, 'cause
Leo's the stand-up guy, huh?
He's kind of like the monster back.
Yeah, maybe
Leo's
Irvin.
the open side end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure what they're.
Because with Chris Clemens now gone,
Right.
at Jacksonville, they don't have. I don't think they have a committed Leo position type guy, which is very important to their defense.
Yeah, who would fit that? Yeah, I mean they've got the depth chart shows Bennett and Averill as starting ends and Irvin is a starting linebacker. Who who would it be?
They just stockpile
What do you think of,
awkwardly sized pass rushers. That's what
Adrian Hubbard or Kareem Martin
Well,
in this position.
I think Marcus Smith is the best pick there.
Marcus Smith, yeah.
I think he fits that Leo position to an absolute T.
Really?
Yes. Personally, I want him drafted by Jacksonville second round if they're going to take a D lineman. I don't want them to take D lineman. I think there's just way too much put into that right now for them.
Interesting.
But I think Marcus Smith fits that role just terrifically. Now, he's going to have to be molded into it, but I do think that's the type of player that's going to fit that role.
I'm really debating offensive linemen as well. I like your thing. I might do that. Yeah, offensive line seems somewhere where they've had to move. They had to move James Carpenter inside. They got a 7th rounder at one guard and another 7th rounder at right tackle. And are these the guys that really want to go to war with? You think Suafilo would be the guy? And we got Suafilo, got Trey Turner, Batonio's a possibility. I mean,
I think Suafilo might be the best zone guard here.
Sorry, go ahead.
Best zone guard might be Suafilo here. Maybe Batonio. I don't even know.
Yeah, Batonio, I think, is the highest guy who's like a pure tackle on my board, but I don't. But,
I think Suafilo's going to go in the first round. I think. I mean, I don't think he's the best guard, but it seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, I have Trey Turner kind of higher just for his massive potential, but and it's because I'm a bit of a homer. But with the clock running down the end, I figure Suafilo sounds good to me. He's probably gonna there's an outside chance he can play I want to say there's an outside chance he could play tackle, right? I mean, he played tackle at UCLA.
Yeah, he did play tackle.
Yeah, he played a lot. He looks better at left tackle than guard.
Exactly, I was going to say that. He looked better at tackle, actually.
I mean, so they might maybe even start him at right tackle, and keep Carpenter and J.R. Sweezy at guard.
They can upgrade the right tackle with him, I think.
Yeah, Michael Bowie is there now. Last year's 7th round pick.
And they might not be able to even sign Okung. I think that's kind of he might be the guy that kind of gets the odd man out with Thomas and Sherman and Wilson.
Yeah, that makes
the guy
a lot
that can't sign.
That makes a lot of sense. So I think that's.
Yeah, I do think he has. Tackle potential.
Well, and I think. I was just gonna say, like for example, them moving Carpenter inside, Unger being able to play center or guard, obviously just center now, but I think there is going to be some versatility. Versatility is going to be important as they figure out what combination of these guys is better, rather than a guy who can't play right tackle if they need someone to kick out there.
Right, and I think the other potential is, you put Batonio inside as well.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I think Batonio's got a chance to go here too, for sure. There's a lot of mocks been linking his name to them. So.
Oh shit!
Makes a lot of sense here.
Sorry.
Well, guys, it's pretty impressive. We only went over by 30 minutes. I'm hoping YouTube doesn't have a shit fit with me trying to put it on there, but it shouldn't. We'll force it.
That was fun.
Just make it an 8-part series.
I don't want to do that anymore. That looked awful on the
Make it
channel.
digestible. Yeah. 8 part.
But so yeah, I really like what we came up with. Everything seemed fit. Derek Carr, our biggest faller, I believe.
Yeah, really surprised he doesn't. We also had no trade. All right,
no trades.
Someone comes up to the back of the.
I think Derek Carr is going in the top 10. I still think that.
Okay.
You might be right. I mean,
I wouldn't take him there, but I'm just saying I think that's where he's going.
No, but like you said, it's like the flashes. His very best plays are just so out of this world that sort of the other stuff's important to playing a quarterback isn't going to take precedence with some of these teams. Someone is going to fall in love with him, I think.
I think Derek Carr, if he gets selected top 10 and Teddy doesn't, it's basically just like coaches being like, oh, we can teach all the things Teddy does, but we can't teach that.
That's kind of how they think a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
I think you can go to Tennessee or Tennessee or Arizona. I think that's where I'm looking.
So, guys, appreciate you doing this. This is awesome. I actually had a lot of fun here. I think you guys really impressed all the work you've done.
Thank you.
I've definitely nowhere near as prepared for this as you guys were.
I'm just having fun now. I'm not even freaking watching tape anymore.
Just sit back.
2 more days.
Yeah, I stopped watching tape a couple days ago. Even I stopped.
Well, you guys you're watching my tape.
Of course.
I was starting to watch guys who just weren't doing anything. Okay.
So you watch Ryan Shazier?
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Or Anthony Barr? Which one?
I'm watching like running back from Brown.
It's impressive they're even on YouTube.
It's our
It is impressive.
So yeah, I was really hoping for under 2 hours, but hey, at least it wasn't 4.
Yeah.
So any call offs? I'll call you one by one. Tweety.
What's up?
Okay, and then Thamel. Trey.
It was very fun.
Vix.
Hope we do it again next year.
Kareem Martin going in the first round, I'm telling you.
Slurp.
And we had Nath.
My favorite pick of this one is Lewis Nix to the Eagles, because that's the one I haven't seen anywhere, and I hope it happens so that I'm right and everyone else is wrong.
Oh boy. So
come on, you all secretly want one of your picks to do the same.
Kind of.
I want to thank everyone for helping out and watching, and as always, these guys all write for Zone Reads, all partake in all that stuff, so check out ZoneReads.com. It's up there on the screen. Twitter at ZoneReads, and follow me at NeilKU, and Nath at Nath on Fire, Vixicator at Vixicator. I don't think he tweets too much though. And
unless you want to see some weird tweets.
Oh boy. And then Trey or Thamel at Thamel90.
Yeah, I gotta warn you. I don't tweet very much football. I usually do that on the Zone Reads account, but you can follow me for a lot of just strange things.
Tweety's the only one that is the oddball here. MJW couldn't make it, but hopefully we can get his content on Zone Reads. He does a very good job with breaking.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that he couldn't make it. But same with Smig. Would love to have their inputs, but fortunately, because God, it was tough with 5 of us talking.
Yeah, it was.
So,
especially when it's only 4.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Peace.